Hello and welcome to Giant Mess, a super sloppy sports and entertainment podcast that's all over the place. It's hosted by a giant mess that's me, the real cinch Neal Lynch. I'm a former fourth-string college quarterback and mediocre middle relief pitcher who earned himself a film and media studies degree. So I think I know a thing or two about movies and TV shows, okay? Now I'm a single dad who loves to talk about Giants football, Mets baseball, movies and TV shows, and I like to mix in some life stories here and there as well. On today's episode, I'm going to be talking about life. I'm going to be regaling you with personal stories from the month of Noviembre, right? It's a month to give thanks, and as we're about to find out, it's about celebrating wisdom and knowledge. Whoa. I'll also talk about attending the Princeton versus Cornell college football game, the Snail theory, trending casseroles, origin of the corpse flower, a loud explosion that caused extensive rumbling. We were able to confirm was not my stomach. Give you the details on that. And then, of course, Thanksgiving. I went down to South Carolina to babysit and watch 4 kids under the age of 11. So buckle up. So let's get started up in here. All right. So couple of things, couple of E&Os, I believe they're called in the insurance industry. I did listen once in a while to my ex-wife. E&Os, errors and omissions from the October episode. My sister and brother-in-law went to a wedding in Arizona, and my mom shared pics and videos of her going to the wedding. Of course, my sister looks amazing, but then I learned that they're taking an Uber, and said Uber is driverless. No driver, sans driver. This is it, folks. We are in the future. How does it feel? Is it everything you thought it would be? For me, no. So Uberless driver. Woo, plenty of those. You know what I'm saying? Driverless Uber, and it was a Jaguar, which is nuts. I wouldn't have put Jaguar in the same sentence as driverless Uber, but here we are. Of course, Jaguar went through that whole rebrand recently that was just, I think the majority of people out there agreed, not so great. Maybe just delete that post and go back to what people know you for and love you for. But yeah, driverless Uber, Jaguar. That's something that is going to be freaking everywhere by the time my daughter is of driving age, I think. What do you think? I mean, she's 6 now. In 10 years, the year is 2035. Man is still alive. And drivers are no longer needed. I don't think it happens that quickly. I really don't. I mean, you look at like just even the electric vehicles, a lot of pro-gasoline, pro-fuel people think it's like friggin' arrival of the Antichrist. And it's like, let's just, why not? What's with this diehard obsession, dying on a hill for gasoline? Like, I don't understand. Like, I don't know. Like, you can get, most of the EVs can get like a 300-mile radius on one charge, which, not as much as what I can get with gas, but it's like, I don't know. You just plug it in. So where the hell was I going with that? I don't know. Oh, the adoption of EVs. That's something that it feels like it should be like in 10. Well, there's a mandate where like, I think all the major car manufacturers are like, yeah, we're going completely electric. The only vehicles we're producing from 2030 on, so in 5 years, will be electric. So, eventually by the time my daughter is able to drive, it's like pretty much every car will be, I think the majority of cars will be electric, right? 2030, the hell, 2035. Yeah. Majority will be electric. And I mean, you probably won't even have to, you don't have to or want to drive, which, gotta be honest, that sucks for a certain generation. Like if you're born, like the year that you can get your permit to drive is the year when there's just no drivers. You can't, like, you don't have to drive. And I imagine there's going to be like, you tell a friggin' teenager they can't do something, they're just going to want to do it even more. I know that I was that way as a teen. So, you're probably going to have a huge resurgence in teens who want to buy gas powered cars. Oh, look at you, Mr. Economics, macroeconomics. I got a cool D- in that. I wish I could take that over again now. Just in a bad place when I took that class. Ooh. So yeah, driverless Uber. So I feel for my daughter because, if you are born, there's going to be a point in the future where kids are, babies are born, and that's all they know is electric cars, and all they know is driverless cars. So it's like it's not gonna ain't no thing for them, but for like the kids that are growing up now, they're like, oh, I can't wait to drive. I see it in movies and TV shows, and it just looks like so much fun, and can't wait. And then all of a sudden, it's like, I don't know if they'll ever. I mean, I can't see like the country banning drivers. If you want to drive, you can drive. But I think most people would just be like, yeah, I'm cool. Just take the wheel, Jesus. So that was an E&O from October. Another E&O from October. Yeah, I forgot to talk about this movie I watched on Hulu called What You Wish For. Kind of little known, under the radar type of flick about a down on his luck chef who owes a lot of money to some bad guys. He visits a fellow chef from culinary school and discovers a sinister secret. Ooh, I don't want to give too much away here, but rich people are crazy. Like, and it's not. I guess most of the time, it's not their fault. I don't know if I should be an apologist for rich people, but like, I think you give any person enough money, they will lose their mind. I'll say that. I think you think of, you might sit there right now and you'd be like, no way, I'd never change. Money would never change me. And it's like, dude, you hit a certain level and things will change for sure. No doubt in my mind. This particular movie, though, really explored the depths. And I feel like that's become a new genre of just like the ultra wealthy are not just like us, the rules do not apply to them at all. And so they think they can get away with anything, which I guess that's the mentality that probably got them their wealth in the first place for a decent chunk of billionaires and trillionaires and all that. Like that they think differently, they act differently. And because of that, that's how they accrue their wealth. But yeah, dude, the things that they think they can get away with. What? Nick Stahl. I don't know if you remember Nick Stahl, but he was, so what was the John Connor? Yeah. So in T3 Rise of the Machines. So, John Connor played by Ed Furlong in T2 Judgment Day. John Connor played by, who was he played by in the future ones? Oh, that one guy who's got one of the scariest, creepiest faces. But in T3 Rise of the Machines, Nick Stahl was John Connor. And T3, it caught a lot of flack. People were not too keen on it, but like looking back, it's like it's been better than some of the other Terminator movies that have been put out. And I bet on another viewing, he'd be like, you know what? I don't remember this being that bad. This is not as bad as everyone said it was. But he was also in that Dumb and Dumber sequel. Nick Stahl's had like a tough run, you know, and it's like, but I still would take his career, man. I still would take it. I'm sure he must have gone through a phase where he's like, man, I'm being associated with some of the best top franchises and IPs in the industry. And for whatever reason, it's like my name is now associated with it being not among the best. You know what I'm saying? But a great actor. I mean, I thought he did a phenomenal job in Dumb and Dumberer, the sequel to Dumb and Dumber, where he played Lloyd Christmas, Jim Carrey's character. Like, I thought he did an amazing job. But, you know, and I don't know that he's done a whole lot since then. But in this movie, he plays the down on his luck chef, which they never really reveal why he's down on his luck. But the assumption there from the little hints they give you throughout the movie is like he owes a lot of money. And so that's why he reconnects with one of his friends from culinary school, I want to say, where they lost touch. And the reason they lost touch, you find out, is because this other chef is like a personal chef or like a mercenary chef, I guess you call it, a freelance chef, where he's for hire, you know, just for certain events, specific events. So he'll fly in to these really exotic, tropical, beautiful locations at like mansions across the globe where he has to cook for these wealthy folks who pay out the wazoo for this experience and for this dinner. Some would say like we're talking about $1 million a plate. I want to say it's not 1,000 a plate. I know that it's definitely $1 million or more per plate to have this experience and eat this dinner made by this chef, well-known chef. But yeah, man, I'm looking at Stahl's IMDb. Let's go down here. Yeah. Terminator 3, Rise of the Machines. He was on the TV series Carnival. I didn't realize he was in Sin City. That's pretty cool. And then a little SVU action. Holler. And then, yeah, I mean, a lot of these I don't recognize the title. Episode of House of Lies, that Showtime comedy. I never watched it. The Murder of Nicole Brown Simpson in 2019. Oof. Fear the Walking Dead, 5 episodes there. The Let the Right One In TV series. Huh. So I know there was a movie called Let the Right One In. Did I watch that movie? I think I might have. No, I did not. It's in my queue. But yeah, like not a ton of, I mean, he has a lot of credits, just none that are like really recognizable. But so, you know, he reconnects with his chef buddy who's doing all these odd jobs, really well paying, like exorbitantly well paying jobs. But his buddy just doesn't look very happy. Like he senses something is off. And he's like, how are you unhappy? Like you have the life. Like, look at this. You get to stay here free of charge. They pay you an arm and a leg. Wink, 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 wink. Arm and a leg. Wink, 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 wink. And you're not happy. What's going on? And then shocking event takes place that really thrusts our protagonist into action. So it's a recommend from me, dog. What You Wish For on Hulu. Very good. Very good. And, you know, I don't want to give away the ending, but a very come full circle type ending where it's just like, oh, man. But I do think, you know, I don't know that they'll make a sequel, but it feels like there's been enough interest in this world. Like you look at like The Menu movie that I really loved a lot. And I think, you know, a lot of people loved. Like that story just feels like it's not 1,000% dead. It's like it you know, they were able to, there was a resolution, right? A conclusion, a denouement. But like, I can very easily see it's not like that feels like there's a lot there. There's a lot of meat on that bone, you know? I mean, you look at what White Lotus is doing from season to season. I kind of fell off the wagon in season 2. I was just like, I don't know if I want to. Maybe I'll get back in on it. But like the menu feels like that could definitely, that story doesn't feel like it's completely over. But you have that's like this new genre movie is like the world of chefs, which makes sense. I mean, you look at all the people out there dying for that cooking and baking competitions and whatnot. And Anthony Bourdain, obviously, rest in peace. But cooks and chefs. I think that like there's another. What was it? Is the menu an American English language remake of a foreign film? Because I definitely saw there's been like 2 or 3 other movies that I wish I gotta find out. Because this feels like it's in that. This is like a whole new genre, dude. Got a 6.7 out of 10 on IMDb. I didn't rate it yet. Damn, son. And guess what your boy's going with? A 7. Shocker. I feel like I give so many 7s out. But it's because you can't do the point whatever, dude. Like this is a 6.7. That's pretty spot on. Dark comedy, psychological thriller, horror thriller. Great. But cooking related horror, I guess, is the subgenre. Yeah, the menu has higher ratings, and I agree. I mean, the menu was just like incredible. Anya Taylor-Joy, Ralph Fiennes, Nicholas Hoult. That's so good. Young couple travels to a remote island to eat in an exclusive restaurant where their chef has prepared a lavish menu with some shocking surprises. Yeah, so it definitely feels like this has become like a huge genre, along with the wealthy people that do nutty things like Knives Out, The Glass Onion, right? You have that Ed Norton plays like the mega billionaire who invites all his friends and influencers to his house for a murder mystery game. Blink Twice, which I hope to talk about potentially later in this episode. Well, if not this episode, next episode. But that's what Channing Tatum, where he plays an ultra wealthy dude who has ultra wealthy friends, quote unquote, who go to this remote place, this mansion, and participate in some very nefarious affairs. Damn, you're a wordsmith, Neal. You know that? Hey, thanks, Neal. I appreciate it. Got your back. Yeah, me too, guy. So, yeah, I think you should watch What You Wish For on Hulu. So that was the other E&O. November kicks off with Diwali. November 1st, also known as the Dia de los Muertos. Is it cultural appropriation if I want to celebrate this shit? Like, Dia de los Muertos just looks awesome. Is it one of those things where it's like, nah, you can't, this is our thing? Hopefully not. I don't know. I just like, I love Coco, the movie Coco. And I don't know, it just looks dope. So yeah, my daughter's school is closed for Diwali. We live in New Jersey. New Jersey is one of 4 states to celebrate Diwali as an official holiday. The other 3 are, can you guess? The last one will shock you. Pennsylvania, New York, and drum roll please, Tejas, Texas, the Lone Star State. That was a curveball for sure. If you look at like the percent population by state of Asian Indian ancestry alone or in combination with, New Jersey leads the pack. 3% or more of the population in Nueva Jersey is Indian. And then, I'm looking at the map, but I think the next highest one is New York, which makes sense at 1.9%. Illinois at 1.59%. California at 1.58%. Maryland at 1.54%. And then it has California again. No, it doesn't. Well, California has the highest number of Indians. Surprising that California wouldn't throw that on the old Cal. It feels like California looks for any excuse to put their name attached to something. It's like, this is banned in California for what? Just for the fuck of it. We honestly don't know anymore. We'll just say cancer. So California has the highest number of Asian Indians. So it's interesting that New Jersey and New York have the highest percentages. Pennsylvania is not in the top 5. It looks like they have like maybe 1.5 or less, like 0.5 to 1.5% of their population in Pennsylvania. Pennsylvania is interesting. Looks like Massachusetts also has a pretty high percentage. But yeah, Illinois has a high number and California has a high number. And yet, not officially a fish in those states. So I got to get on that, I guess. Interesting thing about Diwali is like it kind of hovers, much like Easter has hovered. So like it's not on the same day every year. Celebrated by, you want to see how white I am? Let me show you how white a player can be. Celebrated by Hindus, Jains, Sikhs, and some Buddhists. My mother, not a Hindu, not a Buddhist, a Jain, or a Sikh. She lives in South Carolina where the percentage is near zero. Like, I think, it's like less than 0.5%. And so obviously South Carolina doesn't celebrate Diwali as an official holiday. Could not wrap her head around it. Could not, what? Diwali? It's like, yeah, Diwali. Diwali is the festival of lights. Instead of one night, we get 8 crazy nights. So they don't have 8 crazy nights. I looked this up, but they do celebrate. The celebration does last 5 or 6 days. However, only one of those days are when things officially shut down and close, like a school, an elementary school. So what's interesting is it was kind of news to me that this festival, Hindu festival, is as important to Hindus as the Christmas holiday is to Christians. And while Christmas is the same day every year because it's the birth of Christ, yeah, we get it. This one kind of goes by, what was it, the alignment of the moons or something like that. But it's about remembering the ancestors, and it's not connected to one specific thing. That's what makes it very interesting to me is that. According to Wikipedia, it says connected to various religious events, deities, and personalities, such as being the day Rama Jama returned to his kingdom in Ayodhya with his wife Sita and his brother Lakshmana after defeating the demon king Ravana. That damn demon king, when is he going to learn his lesson? It is also widely associated with Lakshmi, the goddess of prosperity, and Ganesha, who I dated briefly in college, the god of wisdom and the remover of obstacles. That right there sounds like he would crush it in the corporate world. I can see that. I almost am tempted to see if he's on LinkedIn, and if not, I'm going to create a profile for Ganesha. Can you imagine Ganesha and then right under the god of wisdom, remover of obstacles? What are your strengths, Ganesha? Well, I'm a conduit and evangelist for blah, 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 blah. Ugh, it makes my skin crawl. The way people talk sometimes. It's what? Are you a robot? Other regional traditions connect the holiday to Vishnu, Krishna, Durga, Shiva, Kali, Hanuman, Kubera, Yama, Yami, Dhanvatari, or Vishvakara. Nope. I tried. You can't fault me for trying. Some would say, don't try. And I say to those people, hey, how's life? They're going to be on their deathbed. And they're going to be like, I should have tried. I should have tried to pronounce Vishnarkanavar. Damn it, can't get it. So, this was the other part of Diwali that I really, something about it just made me giddy. During the festival, the celebrants illuminate their homes, temples, and workspaces with diyas, which are oil lamps, candles, and lanterns. Hindus in particular have a ritual oil bath at dawn on each day of the festival. I'm not in love with getting up at dawn to take an oil bath, but if I am going to get up at dawn, I think oil bath has to be at the top of the list. There's not a lot that I would want to do if I get up at freaking dawn. But if you're going to say, yeah, I'm going to get bathed in oils, yeah, I'm there 1,000%. Oil bath. And, my head goes places when I hear that oil bath. Take a look at my video viewing history. Oil bath is in the mix, is the leader in the clubhouse. Okay. Something about it that I thoroughly enjoy. Anyway, dear God. Diwali is also marked with fireworks, as well as the decoration of floors with Rangoli designs. I checked out some of these Rangoli designs. And if I decide to post this video, then maybe I'll throw it in there. But pretty cool. Pretty cool. And other parts of the house with jalars. Jaharlars. Food is a major focus, with families partaking in feast and sharing mai tai, which that's not how you pronounce that. Mai tai? Sweets from the Indian subcontinent. And damn, they look good, son. They include sugar. Primarily made from flour, milk, sugar, nuts, and ghee. Ghee. I remember that was, I forget when if it was the first or 1,000th time I've tried to lose weight, but it was, what was it? I kept reading that it was like, make sure you get yourself some ghee. And I'm like, where the fuck am I going to get ghee, dude? Oh, you can get it at this one little bodega in the basement of an insane asylum. It's like, okay, cool. So yeah, I'd love to try that at some point in my life. But yeah, that's Diwali. I'm in on oil baths. So count me in. And yeah, I guess I'll wake up at dawn. Is that negotiable? Thanks. So my daughter's school is closed for Diwali. And did I share any of that information with her? No, probably. But that school, the school does a pretty decent job of like having, there are a couple kids in the class that celebrate it. So their parents come in and they do like a whole celebration at school. So it's like, you got, school had that covered. I don't think I want to go down this route and screw you up any more than I already have. So, but yeah, it's so funny. Like, to anyone outside of New York, New Jersey, Pennsylvania area, that's why Texas is just like, what? It's kind of hard for them to wrap their heads around it. Like, you got offered Diwali, but not Columbus Day? It's like, well, I think it's called Indigenous Peoples Day. And yeah, it seems kind of weird that we didn't get off for that. Like, I'm not against diversity or inclusion or equity, but at the same time, it's only a good thing, I guess, that we have more holidays than some other places. That's cool. But I think it does it might like extend the year a little bit. I don't think the year's extended that much right now. So whatever. I don't even remember what the hell we did. I know we stayed up late Halloween night. That's right. We did. We stayed up late. What did we watch? Ghostbusters? I don't remember. But I think I let her sleep in my bed too. My daughter. Special treat. And that offer is open. That's an open offer. Okay. It doesn't just have to be my daughter. I'm not saying to join us when she's in the bed. I am saying when she's not here, open invite. Okay. So, yeah, we went to the Princeton versus Cornell college football game at Princeton. I think my daughter's a football fan. I think I have failed miserably in trying to get her into football of any kind. She just not into it at all. It's sad. I'm going to keep forcing it on her. I'm going to keep taking her to games until she finally realizes, hey, like this brings dad an immense amount of joy, but also pain, mostly pain. So maybe I should try to act interested. I don't know. She just completely not into it. And also the Princeton, I guess, really stunk this year. I mean, the first game I took her to last year, which you can find that episode, should have come out in probably November-ish. 2022? No. Was it last year? The year before? Oh, dang. I don't remember. But, you know, if you recall that episode, like we missed an entire half of football because she wanted a balloon animal. It's like, this feels like we could work faster on this one. Let's work smarter, not harder. Like, I don't know. But yeah, this time, I guess we missed out on the balloon animals. And we didn't really do like all the other kid-oriented stuff that was in the promenade. Is that what it's called? The promenade? Or is it a C? Cascade. Colonial. Nope, I'm not going to get it. Credenza. No. Whatever. So she just could not sit still. We met up with her friend and her friend's parents, mother and father, and they, you know, basically my daughter is kind of the Pied Piper in that relationship. Just like she just let's do this, like just constantly leading the ship, leading the attack, you know, and they just couldn't sit still, and it was just it was driving me nuts. And on top of that, booing the opposing team, which, all right, that's fine. But then not getting the opposing team's school correct when booing. They're like, boo Cornell, boo Cornell. And everyone's just looking at him like, oh, are you the special ed kids? It's like, hey, it's Cornell. Also, maybe we shouldn't boo. They're killing us out there. They were murder. I mean, like Princeton had less than like 200 total yards in offense, and the other team had like 500 yards in offense. There was a point where they did cut it down to 2 scores, I think, and then Cornell just took off. I think they ended up winning like 40 some odd to 20 something. So not Princeton's greatest effort. Great seats though, end zone seats. I guess those are not great seats, but I don't mind it. I like it. We're very close to the field, very close to the players. And yeah, my daughter watched for maybe 2 minutes and this was constantly asking for food, constantly doing that thing where she asks other parents are smart and they bring snacks for their kids. I don't, because I figure, I would just go to the concession stand. That's part of the allure of going to these freaking things is you get to, you know, hit up the concession stand, see what they got to offer. And, you know, instead, her friend is hungry. The mother instantly pulls out like bags of snacks. And my daughter's immediately like, oh, can I have some? And it's just like, I know this is not that big a deal, but it also makes I feel like a deadbeat because I didn't bring the snacks. And I thought, you know, this is not like MetLife Stadium or some stadium where it's, you know, goddamn $11 for a soda. You know, it's Princeton University. Like it's fairly decent prices. So that kind of was like, all right, you know, and it's one thing to say, oh, can I have that? And it's like, oh, yeah, of course. And then she just inhales it and then immediately is like, can I have something else? And it's just like, no. There's a line and across this line and this line you do not cross. Like Walter Sobchak from The Big Lebowski. You do not cross. So she just crosses lines left and right. And I have to be like, all right, peel it back. I need like a get back coach. There's a get back coach that a lot of adamant, passionate, fiery, emotional coaches have because they're always like on the field yelling and you can't go too far onto the field. So they have the get back coach who like strong guy, usually the strength and conditioning trainer, from that department, strong enough to pull a grown man back onto the sideline where he belongs. So my daughter needs a get back coach is what I'm saying. And I don't know if I can be that guy. I have to be that guy. Instead, they love climbing on that freaking rock thing. It's amazing the lengths that Princeton University goes to for these events to help out families that have little kids that probably, are not going to pay attention to the football game. And so they have the bouncy house and the balloon animals and they have all this cool things. And then they have like that the kids can do. We encourage you to do this stuff. That's why we brought it. That's why it's here. Instead, the kids love just climbing on that freaking rock thing. It's like a giant stone carving. And I think it says Princeton University, or it feels like one of those things that it's like bad luck to touch. It feels like one of those things where like there's some kind of crazy story attached to it. And if you touch it, like you're cursed for life. And these kids are just all over it. And I'm just like, I think this might be sacrilegious. This might be blasphemous. I don't know. This feels like this is a sacred thing and we're just like stomping all over it. So, but they love that freaking thing. And I ended up running into one of my, a girl I went to high school with who was I should have been in her grade for my age. And instead I was a jackass and didn't do that. So I think she was a year below me. I don't think she was 2 years below me, but she was like all over that shit. She saw me and she goes, Neal Lynch. And before I could even like the moment my eyes connected with hers, before I could even get anything out of my mouth, she goes, Sue, and she says her name, full name, first name, last name. And I was just like, oh, yeah, of course. I knew it. But she was there with her son, I think. And we had a nice little exchange. So it was cool. It's cool that, I'm basically back in the area where I went to high school. So I am running in. I every like couple of months, I definitely run into someone out and about that I went to high school with. And so, that was cool. Her sister, I guess, is a teacher, and she's the one who accosted me at my 25-year high school reunion. Like, Neal Lynch, I'm a teacher now. And I have kids that act just like you. And I'm like, I got to skedaddle. This has been great. Good to catch up. Gotta go. So I like apologized. I feel like I spent half the night apologizing. Like, people are like, there's nothing like people giving their version of the story and their memories. And you're like, oh, you didn't like any of that. Like you can tell, like they're smiling and they have like that face and are laughing and you're thinking, oh, this is going to be like a great, positive, fun story where we connected and you felt like this connection. And instead it just makes me sound like a complete jackass. And I was like, oh, this is a bad story for you. And I'm sorry. Like the way you approached the story, your face made me think that I gave you something positive, a positive memory. And nope, this does not sound positive. It sounds like you were pretty pissed off at the time, but I guess time heals all wounds and tragedy plus time equals comedy. Huh? Anyone? But I don't think I did anything bad to this young lady that I ran into at the football game. I don't believe I did anything to offend her. I know it's rare, but her sister definitely, when at the reunion, had that look of like big smile, and I was just like, hey, and then quickly you can tell, oh, I think you probably hate me. I think you hate me. Oh, This was misleading. Your face was clickbait. And you trolled and I took it. I bit down hard on that hook. We did end up going to the concession stand because I don't know. My daughter can be a vacuum at times. It's like it takes her, the other night I timed her. Took her 1 hour and 49 minutes. I was just like, I'm curious to see how long this can play out. How long can this thing go? I'm willing to see this out to the end. So I timed her 1 hour and 49 minutes to eat 8 chicken nuggets and like a handful of carrot sticks. Like not even a handful, like 5 carrot sticks. Little baby carrot sticks. 1 hour and 49 minutes. And I know what you're saying, Neal, why didn't you say anything? I did. I gave her little shout outs. It's like when a swimming coach is like shouts at the time at the swimmer as he's doing laps or something like that. I would shout out, all right, we're at 30 minutes. How you doing? All right, we're at 45 minutes. What's the update? So she just, I don't know. She doesn't eat fast unless it's like in front of other people and it's, snacks. So she'll like inhale the snack that her friend's parent graciously gave us. And then it's the way she eats in front of other people. Sometimes it's like, I can only imagine these parents are looking at me like, hey, by any chance, random question, I know. Do you feed your child? Because she looks like she's starving. She looks like she's never seen food. So we did go to the concession stand because she was not satiated. She cannot be satiated. Could be a good thing, could be a bad thing. And I ended up getting like a chicken sandwich. I don't even remember what she got. And I go to the concession table or the condiment table. Condiment table. And everything there, like I love the keg, the barrel with the pump. I want that in my house. Like I need that in my house. That is awesome. I've talked about this before. I talked about this in the recap of like the Father's Day baseball game we went to. Trying to open packets is my worst nightmare. It is my worst freaking nightmare. I can't handle it anymore. And my teeth are so janky and fucked up that I am unable to open things with my teeth. I used to be able to open things with my teeth. Not to brag, but Jesus Christ, that was a big time, crucial, critical, clutch skill. I can't open anything with my teeth anymore. It sucks. So I'm sitting there and there's like the security. I don't know if this guy was security or what, but he looked like an official and maybe a security official. I don't know, but he's just standing there, arms crossed, older guy, white hair, had to be in his 60s, maybe 70s. If he's in his 50s, he's lived a life. So I'm like, I helped out my daughter with her stuff. Hers was easy, the ketchup and the mustard and whatever. There was like, you pump it and you're good to go. Everything else that I wanted was in these freaking packets. Relish. Come on, just put it in the keg, dude. And you know what? Mayonnaise. I like mayonnaise. I know it's a white ass thing to say and love, but I freaking love it. And I just like the baseball game, same exact thing. You try and open it with your fingers. It just, for whatever reason, it just does not compute, does not work. 404 error across the board. And so then I go for the teeth and I don't know why I even bother with the teeth anymore because they just are 0 for the century in terms of success rate. And so I ended up like getting so frustrated that I like chucked it back. I didn't put it back where it was in like, you're not going to like, it was in my mouth. So I'm not going to put it back where the rest of them packets are. And I didn't feel like I should throw it out. And I guess I was so frustrated, I just threw it onto the table. So not, and I just was like, screw it. I don't need it. It's like, I don't really need mayo that bad. And I'm like doing some other things by the table. And I guess this older guy, was watching me the entire time, watching me struggle. And he picks up the packet and he opens it like, no issue, no problem. And he's like, and he taps me and he goes, here, you drop this. Like very like, hey, dickweed, I saw what you did. You can't just chuck it back onto the table. You're like I pictured him in his head like he was ready, willing, and able to go full bore head first into, this is the problem with your generation. Not even knowing what generation I am. I'm on the cusp between Gen X and millennials. But, this guy probably fought in a war. He probably is like from the greatest generation or like the part of the baby boomers that like fought in a war and built generational wealth and, friggin', I don't know. And I give up and I get frustrated and defeated. I let a mayo packet defeat me. And I can tell, I know he was just shaking his head like this generation. It's just like, I mean, it was just, and I was just like, thanks. I didn't even make eye contact with him. I was like, thanks. And I just walked away. I'm like, I can't, I know you're looking for some kind of reward or satisfaction for absolutely sticking it to me. But I just, you're kicking a dead deer here, bud. Like, yeah, I've, you think this is the lowest point of my life? Get in line. So we ended up going to Alchemist and Barrister for dinner, which that is now back-to-back day. I had not been to Alchemist and Barrister. I have been living in this apartment in this area for the past 3 years, never been to Alchemist and Barrister. And then back-to-back days, I went to Alchemist and Barrister. I went for a Halloween early dinner with my daughter and her mom. And then went the very next day, not the very next day. This has been 2 days later. Yeah, it was that Saturday. So that Saturday, we ended up going there for dinner, and we ended up sitting outside, which I didn't think was going to be a huge issue, and turned out major big time issue. We do not belong outside, especially on the front side, like side. On the side, I think we could have got away with, but not out on the front where everyone is walking by, because my God, for whatever reason, my daughter just, her filter, whatever filter she has, maybe she doesn't even have a filter yet, but that thing is set to off, because she was just pointing and yelling, stating obvious things about people walking by and asking loud, obnoxious questions. And I was just like, I cannot believe this is happening to me. I cannot believe this, because when I'm sitting there on the couch at home and she's sitting on my lap or she's cuddling with me and we're watching a movie, you think this little innocent baby angel couldn't harm a flea. And then she's out there like standing on her seat and pointing and yelling like, what is that guy wearing on his head? And I'm like, oh, fuck. So we're not happy with her behavior that night. Not happy. She was doing this thing where like her and her friend would like go under the table. And I'm like, we just washed your hands and now you gotta wash your hands again. I feel like you're not picking up on what I'm putting down. And then they would do this other thing where they like go over and they stand oh so close to the street and hide behind like a lamppost or a mailbox to do secrets or whatever. And they did it repeatedly instead of just sitting down and eating their dinner. It's like trying to get my daughter to sit down and eat a meal. I deserve a freaking reward. I deserve a medal. To even, I mean, because like she would rather do anything than just sit there and eat. It is the complete opposite of me as a kid. Like, I guess that's why she looks like she's in shape and I looked like a fucking butterball my entire life, is because like I just sit and I just go to town, brother. But with her, it's just, she just would rather do anything else. There was one time we were at dinner, we were sitting at the dinner table, and she asked me a question about something. I was just like, do you really want to know the answer to that? What could you possibly gain from that knowledge? It's just like a question about something she has never noticed before, that has never come into play, not in a million years. But because she's supposed to be eating dinner, she's like on her knees, turned backwards in the chair, asking about it. I'm just like, what are you going to do with that information? It's not your toy. It's not anything that you could ever concern yourself with. But yeah, sure. Let me tell you about it. So I do have to say the wings are good there. This is the first time I had the wings there at Alchemist and Barrister. Very good. I went full fatty that night. Shared a plate of wings and then ordered the birria tacos. Birria, where like you get to do the little dumperoo there. It's kind of like almost it was like a soft shell tortilla and has like kind of a shredded beef in it, which I love shredded beef. And there's like a dipping sauce situation that goes on there, and it's just so good. And had a couple brew doggers because as much as I was trying to mask my frustration and whatnot, it was just tough. I was at the boiling point, my man. Boiling point for sure. So, dogs, lots of dogs walking by. So that's like automatic distraction for the two girls, and I feel like they're still not understanding that you definitely need to ask before you smother the dog in a bear hug. So I definitely had some words with the daughter in the car on the way back. I was just like, you think you deserve to sleep in my bed? My bed? Ugh. I really hope I'm not doing an immense amount of damage to my daughter. Anyway, on November 4th, so this is still early November, Snail theory was trending. It emerged as the top trending friendship theory over the past year. I didn't even know there was such a thing as friendship theories. I was just like, what? There's more than one? Okay, well, let's talk about it. It was coined by writer Rich Brown. Let's see what this dude wrote. Rich Brown. It's like such a common name, and there are so many Rich Browns that are writers. For the love of God, I guess this might be a book. Rich Brown's Snail Theory, the snail theory of friendship. Slow and steady wins the race. Building friendships in today's fast-paced world. Oh boy. So yeah, emphasizes the importance of developing friendships slowly and deliberately, much like the pace of a snail, which, my daughter couldn't be on the further end of that frickin' spectrum. I think I talked about this last time, but it's like if you just connect eyes with her, you're her best friend. She says, she's like, oh yeah, I'll say like, oh, how was whatever, how was gymnastics? How was the party? How was, whatever social event you went to? How was the playground? Just going to the playground. How was that? She'd be like, cool. I met my best friend. I'm like, okay, what was her name? She's like, oh, I don't know. Like, hey, oh man, you're not gonna like this. Not your best friend. So, and that's part of growing up an only child, I assume. I was an only child for the first 5 or 6 years. But I would imagine like you would see that in a lot of only children, where it's like, So yeah, she's jumping at friendships left and right. And I'm like, you don't force it. Let it come to you. It needs to be organic. And then she's like, what's organic? It's like, I'm not going to be able to explain it. It has to be natural. Like, what's natural? Well, I have to explain that too. It's very weird how I talk to her and I use like these ridiculous like words that she will never in a million years understand. And like, I understand what it means and what it conveys, but like explaining it to her, can't do it. It sucks. I ended up explaining the words to her in even more complicated words. It's like, no. We're trying to simplify the other way, bud. The other way. The core principles of Snail theory. It advocates for letting relationships unfold naturally over time, emphasizes intentionality, a word that I freaking despise, in forming friendships, focusing on shared experiences and genuine understanding. And there's a respect for boundaries. Like a snail shell, the theory stresses the importance of personal boundaries in fostering healthier, more sustainable friendships. So I'll be honest, I'm not a good friend, and I'm not good at building friendships. So, and intentionality and purposeful connection is such a wild concept to me. It really, I don't know why it bothers me so much, but like I saw it on the dating apps. I see it, I hear it a lot, like during Peloton classes. Like, be intentional right now. Have a purpose and be intentional. You need to be intentional. I want someone who's intentional. I want someone that's just like, why can't I just not do that? Why can't I just live my life? So, I don't know. To me, that and this is, I mean, you want to talk about snail theory. This is a reason why, my relationship that I had last year ended. That was, I would say, it was, I guess it's purposeful and intentional. It's like, I want to be your boyfriend, but then I didn't really force it. It was just like, but it was that once I put it out there, once it's out there, it's then there. It's then there in that person's head where it's like, oh, well, now I know he wants it. And sure, he's not bringing it up all the time, but like, I know he wants it. That's in my head now. I can't unknow that. So I'm sure that must have put pressure on her to be like, well, how much longer is he gonna, like, he's really just gonna be okay with saying he wants that and then me not wanting that? Saying I love you when I don't love him? Like, so I think that, I should have tried to take that route. What's weird is, like, we started talking, we didn't have a first date until 2 months later. So it's not like I was like really, I wasn't pressuring and pushing on her to, well, like, I need to see you before that. It's like, no, I wasn't like that. I was just like, I know that we're going to keep talking. And when we meet, we meet. And I do feel in certain respects, she was the one who was like, at least over text, being like, what are you doing? What are you up to? Like, I was thinking about this the other day. I mean, I think about it every day. It's so healthy. But the fact that, like, we don't need to go down this route again, right? But like the fact that I had notifications disabled and turned off for basically everyone except my mom, my sister, for emergencies, and maybe my daughter's school. It was like really limited to 3 numbers where like that could break through the barrier. But so I disabled notifications and I wouldn't be able to talk to her. This was also around the time that she lost her job. So she wasn't at her work. So it's like she works out, gets her errands done, the chores are done. And then it's like she's just sitting there and she wants to talk to me. And I'm like, well, I'm working and I have notifications disabled. So I was like, I guess I could disable notifications. And so I did. And then it was like, all right, now we're nonstop texting. And I did that. I made that sacrifice. And yet, I don't know. I thought I wouldn't meet your daughter until a year from now or 9 months from now. Instead, I met her in like month 2, month 1. It's like, but was I going too fast? Should I not have tried to spend as much time with her? I mean, that was the major criticism, or, she voiced her concern, was like, oh, I don't know if I can wait that long to see you again. She said that repeatedly, like, when can I see you next? I want to see you soon. I don't want to wait another week or 2 to see you. And it's like, oh, okay, well, yeah, let's make it happen, Captain. Like, I'll take a look, slot you in. then maybe I can slot in. Hey. So yeah, it's just that was. I mean, I know I'm a broken record at this point, but like, did a frickin' number on my mind and my brain and how I think and how I process things. Like, this is a woman who didn't want to put a label on it, didn't want me to call her my girlfriend, didn't want to say I love you, but yet was adamant about talking to me and getting to know me more and more and more and more, and pressing on me to reveal more. What do you do on a daily basis? What are you doing right now? I can't wait to see you again. It's too long until I see you again. And then I spend 4 days with her and she's like, I think 4 days is too much. I think we max out at a day or two. I was just like, what the actual fuck? It's going to be a while before I get over that one. Oh boy. Why the snail theory is trending? Well, it's a contrast to modern culture in an age of instant gratification, rapid fire social media interactions. Quality over quantity. Love that. I'm all about that quality, boss. And alignment with mental health awareness, emotional well-being, genuine social connections. Yeah. Adaptability to modern life. It's applicable to various relationship contexts, including romantic partnerships. Yeah, tell me about it. Where were you, Broseph? Where were you when I needed you most? Response to loneliness epidemic. The theory provides a solution to the reported loneliness epidemic, especially among millennial women. I mean, you want to talk about the news flash to end all news flashes. There's a loneliness epidemic? You mean I'm not alone? Man, millennial women throws me for a friggin' loop-de-loop. And I feel like I'm stuck hanging upside down, brother. But the Snail theory promotes patience, vulnerability, and intentional relationship building. Struck a chord with many seeking more authentic and enduring friendships in today's fast-paced world. So, to the millennial woman out there, holler at your boy. I'll help you out with that epidemic. Friendship searches, or searches about friendships that hit, queries that hit all-time highs in 2024. Friendship theory. Best friend contract. Hard no. Your best friend wants you to do a contract. I don't know about all that. What happened to the old spit on the hand and shake on it? Or at the most extreme, you do the whole, like, you cut your palm and then the other guy cuts the palm. You do like the bloody shake. Yikes. How did you get HIV again? How to keep friends. Oof. I tell you, I could do a better job of that. How to be a good friend. Definitely could do a better job of that. I'm not a good friend. I'll be straight up. I'm not a good friend. Yeah. Like I had a job. That there was a couple of jobs where I applied to them. I knew my friend worked there, and I felt, I don't know why I didn't reach out and be like, hey, I applied. Or like, can I have a job? This is like, or can you hook me up or refer me? How to stop being friends. Oh, I'm pretty good at that. You need a webinar, a little tutorial on how to stop being friends. I got you, dude. I'm certified. What is a blank friend was also trending in the past year. What is a Rick friend? This one was interesting. So it actually is about Rick from Rick and Morty, if you're not familiar, the hit animated series that was on Adult Swim, which I feel like, is that even on anymore? I feel like it came to an abrupt end when that all Justin Roiland scandal happened. They did like an anime series and it got not well received. But a Rick friend includes perceived intelligence. The friend often considers themselves smarter than others in their social circle. So I'm trying to figure out if I'm a Rick friend. I don't think I'm a Rick friend. I have traits of a Rick friend. Critical attitude. They tend to talk negatively about various topics, finding enjoyment in being critical or hating on things. What? Moi? No. I love how, like, no is the same as no in French and Spanish, but you have to say it a certain way. No. French. No. Spanish. No, American. American. Ay, ay, ay. Emotional detachment. They may a Rick friend may present themselves as cold or emotionally distant, sometimes describes as badass or heartless. I get that way at work a lot. And it is, man, it has done wonders for my career. I'll tell you what, the coworkers are eating it up. Cynicism, it's so weird. It's like, you think I always thought like if I just stay to myself and just get the work done, like who am I bothering? I'm not bothering anyone. I'm just here doing my work. But no, you gotta make small talk and you gotta, oh really? Well, I can't believe, no, come on. Cynicism, the Rick friend often has a cynical outlook on life and situations around them. I mean, I think I could check the box on that one. Contrarian nature, they may take pleasure in disagreeing with popular opinions or mainstream ideas. What? Contrary to popular belief, I am a contrarian. So yeah, I think I'm like, it's a spectrum, right? I think I'm like 65% a Rick friend, 70% a Rick friend. What is a lunchbox friend? Huh? A lunchbox friend has limited interaction, primarily confined to lunchtime or school hours. There's a lack of depth in the relationship, focusing on surface level conversations or gossip. It's a temporary nature that don't extend beyond the school environment or last long term. It's convenience based, more about having someone to sit with rather than a genuine connection. And there's a lack of emotional support. They typically don't provide deep emotional understanding or support. I'm trying to think back to lunch. My only two, I mean, I don't know if I could tell these stories again. How many times have we told these stories? But if you're a new listener or a new viewer, you might want to know. 8th grade, dropped like right after buying my slice of pizza, dropped it on the floor. Asked for a replacement. They would not grant the replacement slice. Had to go to the lunch table. Everyone at the lunch table saw what happened, and then they watched me eat floor pizza. dirty floor pizza. I mean, obviously I tried my best to like wipe it off, but yeah, I don't know. I don't think I cried. I really don't think I cried, but I was not. It was like the dam's about to break, governor. And I remember my actual best friend. Okay, this is not like my daughter talking now. My actual best friend. I know his name, his full name. I know where he lives. He was so disgusted and disappointed. And was just like, just go back there and demand another slice. And I think I ended up doing the whole like take the money out of his wallet and throw it at me like, get yourself a slice. Go get your shine box. So there's that story. And then I mostly, I don't know if it was junior and senior year or just senior year, but I sat with the same group of guys and got punched in the face. And then I think they would constantly, what's the word? Not gawk. Fawn over? No, not fawn. But constantly just be in awe of the fact that I'd never hooked up with anyone. They're just like, it was a daily discussion. Like, oh, I can't believe, like, you just have not, what? You'll never. What about so, like they were, and I think they were trying to help me out and be like, what about so? I was just like, I can't even, what do you want me to do? Like, I literally, yeah, I don't got it. Is there another school I can go to where I can learn how to do that? So, yeah, I got some lunchbox friends. Am I a lunchbox friend? Sure. What is a floater friend? A floater friend is someone who has many acquaintances and connections across different social circles, but lacks a core friend group or deep, meaningful relationships. This one I might be the closest to a floater friend. At least I was in high school, and I'll even say in college. I just like the ability to know a bunch of people and knowing a bunch of different people. Like, I don't understand. I mean, I guess I understand, but I never really took to the idea of like, okay, these are my friends and I'm only going to hang out with them. I'm only going to talk with them. it's like, yeah, I'll do that. But I also like these people look fun too. Like I want to check out what they're all about. And hey, they actually, yeah, they like me for this thing. It's like that Jim Gaffigan bit where he's like, when your college friends meet your high school friends, or when like your coworker friends meet your real life non-work friends, and they're like, why do you have a British accent? I butchered it, but similar to that is like, I definitely floated. Like there was this beef that happened between like the Hamilton kids and the Ewing kids at my high school. And I was like, I'm neither. I'm Switzerland in this scenario. But, I can Jesse Jackson this shit and I can mediate. So yeah, definitely a floater friend in high school. And it's got its pros and its cons. Right now, the con is like, because I've been a lunchbox friend and a floater friend for majority of my life, that, I definitely get jealous and envious of the friends that like met in high school or grew up together, went to the same high school, decided to like continue visiting each other in college, then live together after college, and then blah, 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 blah. Like I'm just and like best, whatever, and yeah, that's but I guess it's rare. I don't know that really happens too often. I know there are some friends listening and they're just like, what the fuck, dude? What are you talking about? And it's just like, I'm just saying this. I could be a better friend. And I keep saying that. And it's usually in January. It's usually like the new year. Like, I need to be a better friend. I got to be a better friend. And I'm like, I'm going to put a reminder on the calendar. And every weekend, I'm going to call a different friend and reconnect. And then that day comes and I'm like, I'm hungover. Or like, oh, this movie's so good. It's like, sir, you're watching Barbie. It's a bad example. Social dynamics. Knows many people, but isn't particularly close with anyone. I am close with a few people, but I would say, like the friends, like I know my ex, she was kind of part of a friend group where like that friend group did fucking everything together. Like mostly all couples, like every weekend hanging out all as a group. So I get it. And it's impressive to be able to keep like a friend group together, much less just a friend. Often feels like an outsider, not fully integrated into any one group. I definitely have those feelings a lot. It's very interesting, like this fantasy football league that I'm in. It's like I'm not in their fraternity. I hung out the fraternity a lot, but like I'm not a fraternity brother, so it feels like, well, I'm not in the inner circle. Like I'm on the fringe, and it's like we just like taking your money. It's like, okay. Like I'm pissing off a lot of people right now. I'm just working through some stuff, man. High school group text. It's like they all, for the most part, grew up together. I moved here when I was a freshman and didn't, wasn't like I was, just kind of there. I'm not, I don't know. Cut that. May struggle to form or maintain close friendships. I mean, I think it's possible that might be a byproduct or like cause and effect type thing where because I move so much, it's like, well, you know what I mean? Even my best friend from Rhode Island, I hung out with him he came down to Princeton for the night with his wife, and he was like, I either forgot or didn't know that you moved as many times as you did growing up. I was like, yeah, I moved a shit ton. Like I know, that I was only in Rhode Island for 3 years and then I moved to New Jersey, but there was a lot of moving before that. That I guess I never really share with you because it's like, let's play basketball, let's play video games, let's go in the pool. Like you don't, at least with dudes, I don't know. I don't think we get into that in-depth shit until we're older. I want to say like college, maybe after college, maybe like midlife crisis. So yeah, never stayed in a place longer than 3 or 4 years, except, even the one place that my family stayed in for a long time, like half the time I was in college. So often lacks a go-to person for emotional support or sharing personal matters. I have go-to people. I'm just the kind of person that doesn't like to burden. I mean, you get me going, I'll fucking talk your goddamn ear off about my woes. I mean, this podcast is exhibit A through Z of that. So I have to realize when people say, "How you doing?" Like they don't want the full length feature film. They want a simple, "I'm all right," and then keep it moving, brother. So I have to remember that. But I also, most of the time it feels like I don't want to, like they got their own thing going on. They're doing their own thing. I'm more receptive and reactive than I am proactive. Oh boy, we're getting deep on this episode. Comfortable in various social settings, but may not feel truly belonging anywhere. Kind of feels, it feels a little up my alley. Can engage with different types of people, but may not form lasting connections. I mean, it is interesting. I think back about a lot of times where I met someone and it was just like instant connection. And it was just like, oh my God, did we just become best friends? Which is, that quote is forever tainted for me now because my ex-girlfriend would say that to complete strangers after having 2 lines of a dialogue exchange. But yeah, I've had that where it's like, it really just like gets white hot and then nothing. Often remembered my name, but not for specific actions or traits. Oh, okay. Emotional experience. May feel lonely, can struggle with feeling expendable or unimportant in friend groups. Yeah, I mean, you want to talk about trimming the fat? I am the fat. Like I could be dropped like in an instant, and I don't think anyone's stride is interrupted. Might find it challenging to build deep, lasting relationships. Yeah, because I feel like when I do, I just it's like such a sob story. I don't wanna make you cry. I don't want to bring you down. I don't want your pity. Causes and contributing factors could be influenced by personality traits, introversion versus extroversion. Yeah. May result from frequent life transitions or moves. There it is. Ah, I assure you, I did not read this beforehand. I copied and pasted it from perplexity.ai, like a chat GPT type thing. Copied and pasted, didn't look at it, which is pretty standard for me. And sometimes it works out and sometimes it doesn't. And this time it worked out because I came to that conclusion on my own, zero help. And sure enough, here it is. May result from frequent life transitions or moves. Yeah. I mean, I'm not going to go back and talk about the job history thing, but like, my ex, I've talked about my exes. Ex-girlfriend worked at her place for 17 years. Ex-wife worked at her place for 10 plus years. That seems like, it seems like myth to me. It just seems like, that's some tooth fairy shit. Yeah, you guys talking about Santa? What are you talking? You talking about the Loch Ness? Can be related to difficulty in taking up space in conversations or initiating plans. Okay. So definitely had a bunch of diverse social experiences to the point where it actually, when friends do find out about it, like, wait, you have other friends? How do you know them? How do you know them? And what do you guys do? What? There's like almost a tone of like betrayal and I don't know, jealousy? No, animosity. It's just like malevolence towards this other friend group. It's like, they're not a threat. I didn't know this was an exclusive friendship. I'm a swinger, baby. Yeah. Top zodiac sign when it comes to friendship searches or queries. Aries and Virgo, Pisces and Sagittarius, Aries and Scorpio, Aquarius and Pisces, Taurus and Scorpio. And I'm here to tell you the wildest thing about that is I feel like I have a lot of friends that are outside those time frames. I feel like the majority of my friends, I guess that makes sense. Yeah. But like, I also feel like there's a heavy contingency of friends that have birthdays in August and like around my birthday or like October. I don't know. Like top of mind, that's who comes up. Like I actually had to go through Facebook and like take a look and be like, huh, okay. Like maybe should I, I mean, I don't know why. I it's not like I completely believe in astrological signs and all that, but it's like, man, people have gone to great lengths to and have devoted a lot of friggin' thought to astrological signs and horology or whatever it's called, your horoscope. And it's like, I don't know. I've always been kind of intrigued by it, which is, I don't know. It's a girly thing to do. It's like dudes don't give a shit, except this dude. So Taurus and Aries. Well, I guess it's not saying that those are like the best friends. It just says that those searches are high. So I can't go down that rabbit hole. Type A and Type B friends exhibit distinct characteristics that influence their behavior and interactions with friendships. Here are the key differences between Type A and Type B friends. Type A, organized and responsible, gory. Still gory. We're talking about hostile level gory. Goal-oriented and ambitious, competitive and driven, time-conscious and punctual, prone to stress and urgency, detail-oriented, and planners may struggle with patience. Type B friends, laid back and easygoing, flexible and adaptable, less competitive and more relaxed, patient and even-tempered, more creative and open-minded, sociable and relationship-focused, may tend to procrastinate. I mean, like, I have traits from both of those. That's why it's so interesting that, I don't know, maybe that's why people get so frustrated with me is I don't fit into this is going to sound so pretentious, but like I don't fit into a box. Like there's not a, people are like, well, you're this. And it's like, well, no, actually I'm also this, like I'm ambitious, but I'm not to the point where I have like a vision board and goals written out. And I'm like, I need to achieve this goal by this time. It's just like, I know I want to do bigger, better, bolder things in life, but like, it's not like concrete set in stone where it's like, I know that's what I need to do, but good luck trying to get me to do it. Competitive and driven. Yeah, I'm pretty competitive and driven until I'm not cutthroat. Time conscious and punctual. No. Prone to stress and urgency. I mean, yeah, I'm prone to stress. And if you remember my story about when I went down south, I need to learn how to relax, man. Detail oriented and planners. I mean, I wasn't much of a planner when I was younger, but it's getting to the point now where I do definitely plan more. I struggle with patience at times, but then there are other times where it's like I'm super laid back and easygoing and I'm down for whatever. I'm more relaxed. And I procrastinate. So, and boy, does that drive the Type A friends bonkers. I mean, they call me the human rain delay, and I'm getting a taste of my own medicine with my daughter. Everything she does is so freaking slow. It is a form of torture, and I have brought up charges against her. So the trial starts Monday. Type B friends might feel overwhelmed by the intensity of Type A individuals. Yeah. Type A friends may be more task oriented in social settings. It's like, aren't we off the clock, dude? Let's save the tasks for work. Let's keep it light. And structure that a Type A friend can offer. Yeah, I mean, that was that was kind of the relationship I had with my lady from last year. I think she was more type A than I was. I think my ex-wife was more type A than I was. And maybe I need to go, but I like, I don't know if I want to go the other route and be like, I need a type B girl. And it's like, we're just bathing in our own juices for days on end. Like, why are you guys wearing diapers? Yeah, so that was my way too long segment about friends. How many of us have them? Oh boy. My daughter's school was closed again. So it was closed for Diwali. And then it was closed on November 7th and 8th for like some kind of teacher conferences, which I don't remember that being a thing when I was in school, but like it's always right around my birthday. And I'm supposed to have my daughter, like that's part of the agreement, is like we're supposed to each have our daughter on our birthday. And for whatever reason, the ex like asked, or was supposed to, it was a weekend that she's supposed to have my daughter or our daughter. And I just never brought it up to her that, like, hey, it's my birthday. May I have our daughter, please? Okay. Per section 5, subset B, article 4, she mine on my birthday. So this year I just didn't, I remember I even went over there because because her school was not open. Was I supposed to have her that whole weekend? Oh boy, I was. But she had asked to take her on Friday for whatever reason. I can't remember what it was. But she took her Friday and then so when I think when I dropped her off at the house, I was just kind of waiting for her to be like, and obviously tomorrow is your birthday, and I will drop her off at your place so that you can have birthday with her. Like she never said it. And I was like, it feels weird now to be like, hey, my birthday is tomorrow. I did that. I did it to myself. Like, just speak up. Just say, hey, my birthday's tomorrow. And instead, I was just like, I'm waiting for her. I'm waiting for her, waiting for her. And she like doesn't say it. And then I'm waiting for her like the next day and she doesn't say it. And I was just like, okay. Did she forget? And then did she remember? And it was too late. And she felt embarrassed that she didn't remember. I don't know. So add that to the cue the sad trombone. I guess better than the fat guy trombone walk, right? Fat guy walk trombone. One of the trending questions that I found interesting was, can I put sneakers in the dryer? And I feel like I've done that and it's never ended well. I'm the idiot who does them by themselves. So you just hear like the whole time, like an idiot. All right, let's find out. We got to get to the bottom of this, dude. Of course, taking forever. While it's possible, oh man, AI loves to AI. The lawyers have done a bang up job with AI, being like, we need to cover our asses. So every answer you give, you have to give what is it called? A caveat. Ipso facto, bitch. Habeas corpus. Yeah. So I feel like every response I get now is like, well, it's possible. It may be. Don't take our word for it. Don't quote me. I ain't said shit. All right, AI. While it's possible to put sneakers in the dryer, it's generally not recommended due to potential damage to both your shoes and the dryer. High heat can break down cushioning and weaken the glue. Shoes may shrink. Tumbling action can deform or damage, and it can damage the dryer. So I guess cotton and canvas shoes are okay. Synthetic fabrics are usually okay. Prepare the shoes. Oh, I didn't do any of this shit. You're supposed to remove the laces, insoles. Nope. Stuff shoes with rags or crumpled newspaper. Nope. put them in a mesh laundry bag or pillowcase. Again, these are all great tips that I wish I knew. Use the lowest heat setting, delicate cycle, check every 15 to 20 minutes. I am out. I'm not about checking, boss. It's either done or it's not. And yeah, so because these white sneakers I got from Nike are looking awfully charcoal right now. They look like they've been working in the coal mine. So yeah, I'd say no, you can't put sneakers in the dryer. I mean, you can, but you have to go through such great lengths. There are some casseroles trending. You know, Thanksgiving approaching, so a lot of people looking up casseroles. And I think today I learned TIL. I came to the conclusion, the revelation, an epiphany that I think I freaking love casseroles. And it's interesting. I guess it's not interesting if you know me, but like typically casseroles are always, whenever you hear them mentioned in like a movie or a TV show, like I made you a casserole, people are always like, oh, thank you. Like I think people hate casseroles. I freaking love them. And I was thinking about this. I could potentially eat just casseroles for the rest of my life. Every meal. Like Mexican food is 1A. I could have Mexican food every meal all day, every day, to the day I die. I'll never get tired of it. Never. And I think casseroles are 1B. I don't know what it is about them. Maybe it's because like it's like it comes in the dish and usually it's like clear glass. You can see the layers and shit. Or maybe, you know, because there is layers and there are many layers to me as a person. Yeah, shit. I just got metaphorical on your ass. Chicken bacon ranch tater tot casserole. Sign me up. Where do I sign? Chicken bacon ranch. Those three are quite the trio. I like found a chicken bacon ranch dip at Trader Joe's, and I'm you know, oh man, it is not. That is one vice that is going to be hard to shake. I don't know if I'm going to be able to drop that cold turkey. Because that is like, once I get a little whiff and like, oh, taste, it's like, you're done. So kid, you're done. So chicken bacon ranch, you know, I think about like, who was the first person to play matchmaker in that little speed dating contest? Like who put those three together? You know, I often think about the Family Guy clip where it's like, how did Reese's Pieces get the idea for Reese's Pieces chocolate and peanut butter? And it's like a guy speeding down the road eating chocolate, and the other guy's speeding down the road eating peanut butter, and there's a head-on collision. And then the I guess Reese is a police officer. He comes and he's like, takes a little bit of chocolate and a little bit of peanut butter, and he's like, oh. I'm trying to think of like, it also makes me think of that Nick Swardson bit where he's talking about who's the first person to like invent or create or discover ice cream. It's like probably the same person who discovered brain freeze. Like, oh my God, this is so delicious. It's so good. It's so sweet. Oh, this is the most delicious treat in the world. My head. Again, butchered it. Do your homework. Press pause. Search for it. No peak chicken casserole. What the F is that? Curious minds want to know. Oh, okay. No peak chicken casserole is a dump and bake recipe. I mean, you're talking my language, lady. Again, with these fucking cooking sites. It should be such an easy thing. You know what? F you. I'm going here. What's in a no peak casserole? Simple comforting dish that includes chicken, rice, and a flavorful mix of soups and seasonings. Cream soups, chicken broth, onion soup mix, butter, French fried onions. That feels, it's baked without opening the oven for about 1 hour and 15 minutes. I mean, that is a bonus in my level, in my book. I'm not a, oh, you got to check on it. No, I don't want to check on it. You said 15 minutes, so I'm doing 15 minutes. So, but I'm not crazy. I mean, chicken and rice is nice, but I don't know if that's one casserole where it's like, I don't know. I guess it would depend on the seasonings, right? And the soups and whatnot. So you have to get a little creative with it. Cheesy ground beef and rice casserole. I want to say that I had that in high school, but maybe not. Sweet potato casserole with pecans. I mean, yes. Full stop. If you need an explanation on that, feel free, your son. I got 99 problems, but sweet potato casserole, pecan, not one. Green bean casserole, hell yeah. Hell yeah. So I might start living that casserole life. Like usually I don't usually typically use the slow cooker in the summer months, spring months, maybe not even the fall months, really. It's really reserved for the dead of winter, January, February, maybe December, part of March. But it's like so nice to be able to just dump a bunch of shit and then turn it on. And again, not have to think about it until the alarm goes off, until the buzzer goes off. And you're like, all right, it's done. Cool. That's how I roll. So casseroles, I'm going to get into that casserole life. Yeah. So I had my birthday. I don't got a new Apple Watch, which was nice. If you remember from the episode where I went down to South Carolina and almost died in a fishing trip with the boat almost capsized, almost died there. And then I was just roughhoused and bullied in the pool by my cousin, by my, nephews and niece and daughter. That Apple Watch apparently just broke. So, what the hell, Apple? Not supposed to do that. You talked about how you can dive and dip and dodge and dip and dive, but apparently it gets a little wet and that's it. So, my sister and mom got me a new Apple Watch, which was very much appreciated. My mom, of course, went overboard. So if you're ever wondering, like, man, Neal is, as the children say, so extra. Where does he get it from? Maybe it's Maybelline. No, it's my freaking mama. So she got me like a protective case for the Apple Watch. And then like also, what is it? I think I have it here. And a screen protector, dude. A screen protector and a case. It's like at that point, I don't think I should have a watch. Like I can't even see what the time is through all these layers of protection. But very much appreciated. She also made it seem like she got me, like she sends me packages. She sent me gifts, Apple Watch being one of them, but she sends, and then I open the other package, and it's a Mets shirt and a Devils shirt. And I was like, oh, cool. I could use some more Devils and Mets gear. And I look at it, and the Mets shirt is a triple XL for women. Triple XL for women. And like not even a V-neck, like a full-on cleavage shirt. Like something that a lady with a monster rack would wear, or a lady where just wants to, catch your eye. So I was like, what the fuck is this? I look at the Devil shirt. It's got the number 17 on it. So it's like a jersey. It's the number 17 and Kovalchuk is the name on the shirt. And I'm like, Ilya Kovalchuk? The dude who signed the ridiculous contract with the Devils and didn't even get like 2 years into it. On July 9th, I remember commenting on this when it happened because I was like, I think my eyes done failed me. On July 19th, I think this was 2012. Was it 2012? After receiving offers from other teams, Ilya Kovalchuk agreed to a 17-year, $102 million deal to remain with the Devils. And the length of the deal broke the record for the longest contract in NHL history. I'm sitting here and I'm going, all right, but like obviously I think he retired and went to the KHL in Russia or something like that. and then unretired and tried to make a comeback and like played for a couple of years. So it's like, in terms of Devils lore history, not like a little bit of a blemish, like didn't really pan out like everyone hoped it would. And I'm like, why the fuck would I wear a Kovalchuk shirt? There's so many other Devils I would rather wear, Scott Stevens, Ken Danico, Claude Lemieux, Martin Brodeur, so many others. Niedermeyer. And she got me an Ilya Kovalchuk shirt. And I was like, Mom, what's going on? Because I mean, my family has, and anyone really who's ever bought me clothes knows it's a guaranteed fail because my body is a wonderland and it's just this amoeba. It's just constantly changing shape and very amorphous. And like, I don't have a size. I don't have a size. I am much like, being on the cusp of Gen X and millennial. I am like on the cusp in between two, and it's either way too tight or way too loose. There's never a perfect fit. Never a perfect fit. That's why I mean, people wonder why I'm like not into clothes, not into fashion. It's like, well, first of all, nothing fits and nothing looks good on me. So there's your solution. There's your answer right there. But I was like, Mom, and she never gets my sizes right. Never. And sometimes it's egregious. Like this time, I was like, Mom, triple XL? What's going on? And like Kovalchuk, the guy who signed the longest contract and like hardly played for like 10% of it. She goes, this is a quote, direct quote. I bought them a long time ago and never wore them. So these were shirts that my mom bought for herself and somehow never wore them. And then decided to give them to her 44-year-old son. What is happening? I was just like, and I can't, like, I think I asked her, I was like, hey, do you have the receipts for that's how I got there. I was like, hey, do you have the receipts for the Mets and Devils shirts? And she's like, no, why? And then that's when she revealed I bought them a long time ago and never wore them. I was just like, then why the fuck are you giving it to me? She's like, well, maybe Bree will wear them, my daughter. And I'm like, okay, sure. My daughter made me a card, which was very nice. She ended up drawing me in a tie-dye shirt, because I do love to wear that Bussin' with the Boys tie-dye shirt with the bald eagle on the front, wearing the sunglasses and the mullet. And under me, so she drew my sister, my brother-in-law, their kids, all like really fun, accurate drawings. Like, she drew my 3-year-old nephew in like a diaper, and she even drew nipples on him. And she drew did she draw tattoos on my brother-in-law? Because he has tattoos. And then she was very accurate drawings. And then underneath me, she didn't do this for everyone else. She drew them, wrote their names, drew me, wrote my name. But then under me, she had the word happy with an arrow pointing to me. Like, hey, big guy. Hey, I know you're pretty glum, but this is what happy looks like. This is what you need to look like. You need to look like this. It was like almost as if like I can't recognize or understand what happy looks like, which not that far off. And she's like, just a reminder, this is what happy looks like. So try to look like that. Okay. That week leading up to Thanksgiving was a blur. I found this interesting. Corpse flower origin was trending at around that time. And I guess it's because the one couple that was on vacation where there was a corpse flower, like touched it, or you're not supposed to touch it. And so they didn't know how to handle it or touch it, and they touched it and it died or something. And they really fucked it up. And it's a very rare flower. Titan atom, or Amorphophallus titanum. I think you caught part of that word. I think you caught it. It's a flowering plant in the family Araceae. Large unbranched inflorescence, tall single leaf branched like a tree, and a heavy tuber, which enables the plant to produce the inflorescence. A titanium, the shortened version of the name, is endemic to rainforests on the Indonesian island of Sumatra, where they make a hell of a cup of coffee. Because its flower blooms infrequently and only for a short period, it gives off a powerful scent of rotting flesh to attract pollinators. Pollinators. Y'all a freaky bunch. Why do you like the smell of rotting flesh? Ew. As a consequence, it is characterized as a carrion flower, earning it the names corpse flower or corpse plant. It remains difficult for amateurs to cultivate, but one flowered at a high school in California in 2011. Magna cum laude. Flowerings can attract crowds of thousands of visitors, and in the 21st century, also thousands on internet live streaming. I mean, as someone who is straight up struggling to get viewers and listeners and audience, to know that there's just a live stream of a panda or an eagle's nest. Those things I can kind of understand, but like a live stream of a fucking corpse flower, just racking up views. Sure. I mean, and I can understand why. In the video, I could probably show a picture. I'll try and describe the picture to you. And it basically just looks like a penis. It just looks like a giant dildong. That's the heavy tuber. So the etymology is it derives its name from ancient Greek amorphous, meaning without form, misshapen, and then phallus with the penis, especially when erect. An erect penis. How about that? And titan or giant, looks like a giant penis. So this whole without form, misshapen thing, it ain't without form. It's got great form, perfect posture. Misshapen, maybe, but that's like, we can't all be Peter North over here, bro. So thought that was a fun little diversion from not remembering what the hell happened then. Scholastic Book Fair was also that week. Scholastic Book Fair is funny because kids rarely buy books, at least in my experience. It seems like anytime there was a book fair at my school, it was like I'm buying these cool fucking sunglasses where like there's mirrors on the side and you can see behind you. That's cool. I'm buying that. I'm buying this snap bracelet. I'm buying, it's like I'm buying this keychain. Like I'm not buying anything that's remotely resembles a book. If it's got words on it, I don't know. I gave her $30 and sure enough, she got 0 books. It was all like, I got this pencil. I got this keychain. I had this, necklace, bracelet. I was like, which leads me to believe that like the first book fair was just books and they generated like 0 sales. And they were like, listen, we're going to have to expand our offering a little bit here. Inventory might have to diversify because this ain't doing shit. Beaver moon manifestation and beaver moon effects on humans was trending at this time. The good old beaver moon. We go from the corpse flower, the giant phallus, to the beaver moon. Ew. Let's see here. The beaver moon occurred on November 15th, 2024, offers a powerful opportunity for manifestation and spiritual growth. It's the final supermoon that hosts. Final supermoon of the year brings unique energies that can be harnessed for personal transformation and goal setting. Here are some manifestation rituals and practices to try during the beaver moon. Choose crystals like carnelian for creativity and selenite for cleansing energy. Find a quiet space and hold your chosen crystals. Set an intention by saying aloud, I invite the spark of creativity. I invite inspiration to flow to me. Meditate for 10 to 20 minutes. Barf. Visualizing the crystals channeling the moon's energy into your consciousness. After meditation, write down any insights or creative ideas that came to you. Oh boy, wow, there's a ton of shit here. Create an altar focused on finances. Okay. I attract abundance in all forms. Wealth is mine, and I open myself to it. Hey, I've been thinking about this whole wealth thing, and I don't know. I'm kind of coming around on it. I think I might be open to wealth. I'm worthy of prosperity and success. Oof. Visualize letting go of past hurts. Place malachite in your non-dominant hand to release emotional blockages. I mean, who the fuck came up with this stuff, man? Hold rose quartz while breathing deeply, inviting self-love and healing. Light a candle? Sure, why not? I love that. Prepare your space with a white candle, rose quartz, and malachite. Perform this stuff outdoors. And if you're going to do it indoors, do it without shoes. Like this, it feels, it just feels like such a hodgepodge of shit. But it must have worked for someone somewhere, and they documented it, and they were like, check it out. I know it sounds crazy. Write down your wildest aspirations without limiting yourself. Close your eyes and visualize yourself as a flower with strong roots growing from your feet into the earth. And I gotta say, if I end up doing this shit, I'm going corpse flower, bro. No doubt. Imagine a flower blooming above your head, reaching toward your goals. Oh boy. Yeah, the beaver moon, bro. The beaver man can. Beaver moon. Get the hell out of here, dude. All right. Let's see. What is effects on humans? That should be good. What do you got, beaver moon? What are you doing to me? Even the AI is like, oh my God, I have to search for this. You're not going to like this. It's the bright moonlight might suppress melatonin production, disrupting sleep. Ooh. Oh, full moons. There's a slightly reduced deep sleep and delayed REM sleep. Will report heightened emotional sensitivity. Individuals with bipolar disorder may experience mood cycle changes. Whoa. Most studies find that no significant correlation between lunar phases and general mood behavior, physical health, slight changes in cardiovascular conditions. No strong evidence linking the lunar cycle to increased emergency room visits or birth rates. There's a potential influence on melatonin and cortisol. It's often seen as a time for reflection, preparation, and setting intentions. Oh boy. Ugh. Beaver moon. And of course, it's like, it's so large that everyone sees it. Everyone can see it. And of course, I live in the one area of the planet where I can't. You're like, you see it, you see it, you see it. I'm like, nope, it's actually behind that tree. I did a fat thing. Now that I'm working out more. I'm like, I don't feel as bad doing fat things. And it's like, it's just nice to do fat things and not have to feel too shitty about myself afterwards. But so I got two ginormous hoagies from Hoagie Haven. And one was, oh no, I'm not going to remember it. Oh, this is going to kill me. All right, let's see if I can find it. Oh, I think I even did a search for it here. Library. Oh, that's bullshit. I definitely did a search for that. The F. All right. Specialties. Yeah. So Hoagie Haven in Princeton. I think I've talked about like when I was at the Hun School of Princeton high school football training camp. That was like our go-to was getting Hoagie Haven. I'm trying to remember what I got. I think I got I don't think I got that, did I? I either got the Sanchez, the body bag, or the heart stop. For someone who's so concerned about his heart health because his father passed from a heart attack, I definitely tempt fate by always, if you mention anything about a food having the potential to stop my heart, I'm going to order it. You want to talk about an enigma wrapped in a mystery covered in confounding sauce. That's your boy. Like, you don't know why I'm always attracted to it, but the heart stop is actually not that bad. It's like cheesesteak, bacon, eggs, ketchup, and hot sauce. I've had worse. So I think I might have got that. in the body bag, which is capicola, ham, salami, and provolone with cheesesteak, hash browns, egg, ketchup, and hot sauce. I can see why they went with body bag over heart stop there. It's like, hey, there's a shot your heart will come back around. You know, you could probably make, not go into the light and make a recovery. This, you're not making a recovery. But damn, that was that good. The issue, though, is I was a cheapskate, shocker, and didn't order any of the extra sauces because this shit was dry. So I think I, like, that Friday night, I picked them up and I saved them so that I could have just those 2 sandwiches for the rest of the weekend. Like, wake up, do like half a hoag to the face for breakfast, half a hoag for dinner. Saturday, half hoag brekkies. Sunday morning, half hoag dinner time. And would I do it again? Yeah, but I would have to do the sauces. I think that's why they know they got something by charging for the sauces. It's like $1 per sauce, and I'm already dropping like 40 kilos, 40 lira rubles on 2 monster sandwiches, and it's like, I don't know if I need all this extra sauce, do I? And it turns out, yeah, I think I do need that shit. So might have to circle back on that one next time I'm feeling fatty. I'm into the deviled eggs, because I like deviled egg jello shots was one of the top trending searches related to deviled eggs in the week leading up to Thanksgiving. And search interest in Bloody Mary deviled eggs more than doubled. And I got to tell you, haven't done either of those things, but that is, add it to the list, my guy. Oh my God. I am one of deviled eggs' biggest fans. I don't want to say number one fan, but I just remember that Miller High Life commercial from back in the day when it was just like, let's see if I can find it. But it was like, basically, I gotta find it because I cannot get this wrong. Oh, here it is.
Do you know what's really fun?
No.
A website on Wix.
Hi, Wix.
That last egg's looking real good. You had quite a few, though. Maybe you shouldn't. But if you make a light choice here, maybe you will have room for just one more.
Oh, I've got the noise.
See there? When you live the high life, you can live it both ways.
He's so happy. And I got to be honest, I would be just as happy. There's one deviled egg left. And he's probably pounded that entire plate already. And he's like, I can't do it. But yeah, deviled eggs, I could mow down a cool 24 deviled eggs, if not more. Deviled egg jello shots. Okay. I know that probably made some people gag a bit, but I'm down, dude. Bloody Mary deviled eggs also sounds just A+++. So that I might just like get nuts and do casseroles and deviled eggs for myself. Like, have you just been eating casseroles and deviled eggs for the month of February? Yeah. Top trending pie recipes. Croissant breakfast pie. Oh, just when you think you've seen and heard it all, that walks into your life and you're like, hey, feel free to stick around. Stay the week. 1914 pecan pie. Feels like that might start a world war. Butterscotch banana cream pie. Oh my God, dude. Yeah. I'll take thirds of that. Sanofi pie? Sanofi pie? Oh, no, Banoffee. Oh, Banoffee, like banana coffee. See, you stick around. I'll make it worth your while. It's a British dessert. invented in 1971 by Nigel Mackenzie at the Hungry Monk restaurant. Culinary experimentation, which, you know, I catch a lot of shit and heat from people in my life. When I combine stuff, I like to experiment with food. I'm not a prude when it comes to food. And I like to get wild with it sometimes. So, like, you know, and that's how we got friggin' coffee toffee pie and banana coffee pie. Its popularity soared by 1974. Huh. Buttery biscuit base, got it. Thick caramel toffee, got it. Sliced bananas, whipped cream, chocolate shavings or cocoa powder for garnish. Yeah, I'm in. Damn it, damn you. So I had that. I'm gonna be a busy little boy in the kitchen with all these recipes, dude. All these things that are just, you know, never even thought to explore. But like people are not big fans of me, and I don't feel like I'm taking great leaps, taking huge risks, you know? I mean, like my one friend got pissed at me because I had a bagel, egg, and cheese, and I added cream cheese to it. So it's like slice of whatever they got going, cheddar, American, whatever their slice they're laying down. And then, yeah, butter up those bagel slices with some whipped cream. Not whipped cream. Cream cheese. Whipped cream cheese. And it's good. He was disgusted. And then sure enough, he wanted a bite and he was hooked. So I am all for getting weird in the kitchen with food combos. What was a food combo I had recently that was just like, why are you doing that? It was I scrambled up tofu, super firm tofu. Fried that up with eggs, egg whites, because they're liquid egg whites that come in the carton, because I went to the grocery store and there were 0 eggs, no cartons of eggs. I've never seen that at any point in my life. 0 cartons of eggs. And of course, you know, people are sending memes left and right about the price of eggs. Like my buddy sent a meme about like egging houses. Now you have to do like vegan eggs, and like a guy down on one knee proposing to his wife, and instead of a ring, he gives her a carton of eggs. It's just like, fuck, man. What happened? I ordered a large pizza and wings, like 16 wings, because they didn't offer 12, I don't think. It's $50. What happened? It used to be like, here's a 20, get yourself a pizza, get yourself a god dang pizza and wings. And all this shit continues to skyrocket price-wise and cost-wise, and yet no one wants to hire and pay full price for the talent. What is happening? Squash pie? I'm not even going to look into that. I don't need to look into that. There is also a map of like the most searched the side dishes for Thanksgiving. And there you are, dirty jers coming in with sweet potato casserole. Hell yeah. For whatever reason, the past, I don't know how many Thanksgivings we've always had, we make our own sweet potato casserole, and then family brings over sweet potato casserole. We double up on that with 2 of it. And I mean, it never goes to waste. It's probably a good thing we do that. But yeah, sweet potato casserole was most searched in Jersey, as it was in most of the country. Deviled eggs, big time search in Virginia. Virginia is for lovers. I'm a lover. I hate driving through you, VA. But damn it, I like where your head's at with the deviled eggs. Fruit salad was most searched in Louisiana. What is going on, Louisiana? What are you doing? Louisiana has such good cuisine, such good food, and fruit salad is the search for side. Make it make sense, my man. Bacon wrapped green beans, tops in South Carolina. Hell yeah. I am disturbed by the level of states where glazed carrots is like the number one search side dish. Fuck that. I mean, I'll eat it, but I'm not gonna like it, and it's not. It's kind of like. I mean, I guess did they run out of literally everything else? Stuffed mushrooms make an appearance in South Dakota. I gotta get out there. Those are my peeps. Stuffed mushrooms? Fuck yeah. Roasted Brussels sprouts was only the top search in. Oh no. New Hampshire. I got it. Vermont, kind of shaped like a V. Pineapple stuffing. Big time search in New Mexico. Pineapple stuffing. I don't know if I could get behind that, but I'm not. It's not a hard no. I'll give it a whirl. Pumpkin risotto was tops in Rhode Island. Look at you, Rhode Island, getting all freaking culinary. And then brie mini tarts in Delaware. Okay, sure. So I thought that was muy interesante. And then for baked goods, most search baked goods by state. Baked brie in Jersey. I don't know if we can live here anymore. Got fucking people searching for how to bake my daughter. Get out of here. She's sweet as the is. Pretzel. People are baking pretzels for the give, dude. I don't know about that. That's New Mexico. New Mexico is very artsy, so that I guess that makes sense. A lot of apple pies, a lot of tiramisus. A lot of there's apple spice cake. Don't hate it. Cornbread in Nevada. Cranberry pie in Idaho. That's kind of unexpected. Cheese ball in Mass. Those frickin' massholes with their cheese and the balls. Oatmeal cookies in Vermont. Sure. Sugar cookies in Delaware and Pennsylvania. I'm here to tell you. Well, I think we're going to get to it in a little bit. So that's a nice little teaser. I had thoughts about sugar cookies. Cake pops in West Virginia. Holler at your boy. Macarons, which are not macaroons. Those are two different things, I guess. Sticky coffee cake in the great state. I always get this confused. That's Colorado. That's Wyoming. And that's Montana. Montana or Wyoming? Sticky coffee cake. It sounds like it's up my alley. Pumpkin cheesecake. German banana pie. Das gut. And yeah, cheesecake pudding. Louisiana. No, it's not Louisiana. It's Mississippi. Is that Alabama? Oh boy. I give up. New York cheesecake in Iowa. Okay. Pumpkin sour cream coffee cake in Nebraska. Oh, holler. Pumpkin dessert bars in South Dakota. Gluten-free pumpkin cups in North Dakota. Well, that's a twist. And then lemon cake with lemon extract. Okay. Hot milk cake in Maryland. Maryland, what is going on? What is going on? Is it Maryland or is it DC? Hot milk cake. I feel like that would for sure. That's 100% fail rate on that one. So yeah. I mentioned this in the intro. There was a loud ass explosion. Like the day before we left to go down. No. 2 days before we went down to South Carolina. Just a humongoid explosion that was like a very lengthy rumble. So, and I still don't believe this, but there was like zero news about it. But I'd have never experienced something like that. Like we had an earthquake, in was it May of last year? We had an earthquake. I had never experienced an earthquake like that. I'd been kind of like, it was an earthquake when I was 8 in the Boston Garden and shook. And it was like, oh, that was interesting. The one in May was like, whoa, things are shaking, rumbling. Like that was, felt that one big time. And so this one didn't feel like, I was like, is this another earthquake? No fucking way. But I remember, and I was like, well, it can't be thunder because thunder doesn't last that long. This was like, and it was a rumble for, entirely, I mean, like at least 30 seconds, maybe even a minute or more. It was a long, continuous rumble. And I was like, that's not thunder. That cannot be thunder. There's no way that's thunder. I've heard thunder. That ain't no thunder. So I was like scouring the interwebs on Twitter, trying to figure it out. And it turns out there were like a handful of people tweeting about it. People thinking that it was like, oh, this is World War III. We were just bombed. Other people saying like it was, what was it? Yeah, mostly just like, oh, we've just been bombed. But no, apparently someone had, and who knows if this was accurate, but someone had like not a dash cam, a Ring doorbell camera. And they showed like with the volume on the lightning strike and then the long rumble. I refuse to believe it. I still don't believe it. I still don't. No, dude. Oh God. Never mind. Yeah, trying to friggin'. Maybe I shouldn't have used the word rumble when I was searching. So that was nuts. Alien invasion, I think, was another one. I know we just talked about War of the Worlds in the last episode. And I was like, yeah, those gullible sons of bitches thinking that the Martians were invading when it was just a radio broadcast. And it's like, well, this feels like an invasion to me and a bunch of other people. Something big hit. Is it an asteroid? Is it a meteor? Is it a bomb? Is it aliens? Like there was just theories out the ass. And thunder, dude? No. When asked for comment, thunder was like no comment. Gladiator 2 released in theaters. I didn't see Gladiator 2 in the theater. I ended up streaming it more recently when it was on Paramount Plus, when it debuted on Paramount Plus. Oh boy. It has good ratings on Rotten Tomatoes. I think it's like 71% of critics gave it a favorable review. See, this is the thing about Rotten Tomatoes. People, I mean, there are really smart, intelligent people out there, and they still look at it as like, oh, this is a 71 out of 100 like score. And they're not looking at it as a percentage. They're looking at it as like a score, like people assigned it that score. It's like, no, it means that 71% of critics gave it a favorable review, which means 3.5 out of 5 stars. So it's like 71% of critics agree that it's at least a 60 out of 100. Does that make any sense? I ended up giving it a 7 out of 10 on IMDb. IMDb's rating has 190,000 ratings, 6.6 out of 10. But now that I'm looking at, I think I might give it a 6 or like a high 5. I think I would lower my score because I remember watching it and being like, this doesn't feel like the sequel. This doesn't feel the same as the first one. Like just from the look, the score, like the first one, it feels cinematic and it feels like an epic. This one, I don't know if it was because maybe the first one was shot on film and this was shot on digital. It felt very digital, and it was so like, how do I put it? Like clear that it almost took away. It's almost like took away from the experience. Does that make sense? So watching it and being like, this doesn't have the same kind of style and look as the first one did. So I know Dave Portnoy, El Presidente, Barstool Sports thought it sucked. And he made some valid points. He wasn't a fan of the twin emperors. I can see how it's like these jokers, these clowns, they're in power, but I think that was the whole point, is like you went from Joaquin Phoenix in the first one, who's like a ruthless dude, cunning and just tyrannical and whatnot. And then these two, it's literally the kid from is it White Lotus season 1? I think it's the younger brother from White Lotus season 1. He was also in Thelma, where he plays the grandson. He's been in a bunch of shit. And a pretty good actor. And so I thought that was a good casting choice. And then the other guy is the freaking guy from Stranger Things. The one who, in the last season, was it Eddie? Is that his name? Eddie Munson, where like he's super into Dungeons and Dragons and he befriends Dustin. Joseph Quinn is the actor's name. But he ends up having that one of the best scenes in television history, or moments in television history, when he's playing, he's trying to distract the flying winged creatures, and he starts playing Metallica. So good. But so he's the other twin emperor. He's got this Joseph Quinn looks very, very remarkably similar, strikingly similar to Robert Downey Jr. So I bet that helps his cause for getting work. But I thought, if you're expecting like, oh, they're just gonna roll out another Joaquin Phoenix, like I understand that was a tour de force performance from Joaquin, but that's pretty much par for the course for the guy. Like he's one of the best actors. So, and I thought, okay, this is these two guys, Joseph Quinn and this other guy. I gotta find his name down here. Yeah, Fred Hetchinger. Let's see here. Oh, he was in 8th grade too. 8th grade was the kind of an indie darling. Fear Street. Those movies I liked a lot. I think I first saw him in Alex Strangelove. That's when we had Movie Pass. So it was like, we're willing to go to the theater to watch anything because it's basically free. News of the World, Woman in the Window, Fear Street Part 1 and 3, playing. And then Thelma, he's the grandson. He's also an executive producer on that, which is crazy. And then Gladiator 2, and he's also in Craven the Hunter, which is 16% of critics liked it. They gave it a favorable review. But 74% of fans gave it a favorable review. But yeah, Emperor Caracalla. So yeah, if you're going into this movie thinking like, oh, these are two guys, like in my mind, when I first saw them, I was like, oh, these are some pretty awesome casting choices. Because I liked you in Stranger Things, and I liked you in Thelma and some other things, White Lotus. And I thought, okay, they have arrived. Like this is going to set them, what Gladiator did for Joaquin Phoenix is what Gladiator 2 is going to do for these two guys. But I don't know, I guess the feedback on them is like, these two jokesters, these two clowns are the emperors, and like, they don't strike fear into anyone. They're just like, they're fuck ups and incompetent and constantly drunk or high and making rash decisions, which you could make an argument that that's scarier, because it's like they're so unpredictable. They can just get drunk one day and like order. I mean, literally they get drunk or get high and they just start ordering executions left and right. So I guess people were not a fan of that. What did I think of Paul Mescal? Paul Mescal plays the titular character, the Gladiator. Years after witnessing the death of Maximus at the hands of his uncle, Lucius must enter the Colosseum after the powerful emperors of Rome conquer his home. With rage in his heart and the future of the empire at stake, he looks to the past to find the strength and honor needed to return the glory of Rome to its people. Hey, spoiler alert, bud. Rome doesn't actually, you don't want to know. The critics' consensus was echoing its predecessor while upping the blood sport in camp. Gladiator 2 is an action extravaganza that derives much of its strength and honor from Denzel Washington's scene-stealing performance. Wholeheartedly agree with Denzel Washington. I mean, is eating up scenes left and right. The thing that's kind of, I don't know, is like he's amazing to watch, but it's like I'm not watching a character. Like I'm watching Denzel Washington. Does that make sense? Like he's playing this guy, but it's like, oh, that's Denzel. I don't know. The audience says it delights in razzle-dazzle over historical precision, rigorously entertains, all the better for it. I do have to say that first Gladiator battle scene against, I assume, are baboons. I didn't know baboons could get that big. Holy crap. It was like a shaved baboon, I think. I was like, wait, hold up. Hairless baboons. The baboons are fictional. Base their design on a real life monkey attack. Okay. I was like, they kind of look like baboons, but I don't think baboons get that big, boy. That was like, oh, okay. I dug that. But then the one that I think maybe some people might have been like, all right, that's a bit much. I don't know if I can buy into that. Was the Gladiator battle scene where they basically fill the Colosseum with water. Like the battleground is filled with water to the point where they can sail ships in, and there are sharks everywhere. That was fucking baller. I mean, I loved that scene. I thought that was awesome. And but maybe some people were just like, what the hell is this? How is, I mean, I definitely at points was like, how is this? How are they pulling this off? How are they doing this? Like, in all seriousness, what's going on? I still loved it though. So they for sure upped the ante in that respect. And I don't know if I just spoiled it for everyone, but it's like the synopsis. Like it's that was the other thing that was kind of stuck in my craw was the fact that like it took people so goddamn long to realize that he was the son, was Maximus's son. It, like way too long, to the point where like, and then the characters treat it as if they're discovering it or hearing it for the first time. And it's like, y'all, it's been pretty clear this entire time that he's the son. And yeah, Pedro Pascal he's good. You know, he's kind of stuck in a tough spot because, you know, he is basically over being like the bloodhound for the twin emperors. You know, he wants out. He doesn't, and, you know, he basically hates his job. He's just like, I don't really want to conquer anymore. Like seeing all the people weep, taking a toll. Can I take a mental health day? I'm a little burnt out by all the dead bodies. So, you know, he steps in and marries Connie Nielsen. Is it Connie Nielsen's character? Lucilla. Paul Mescal did a pretty bang up job. Pretty good job, I thought. You know, did he just not this, you know, as much as I want to think that this is just like Gladiator was the launch point for Joaquin Phoenix and also a pretty integral part, seminal moment for Russell Crowe, for him to take off and skyrocket. You know, you kind of I don't know if it was an expectation or hope. You kind of thought, okay, now Paul Mescal is now going to enter the stratosphere, and he gives a good performance. Is it on the same level as Russell Crowe? No, not really. Pedro Pascal is General Acacius, and you can see, like, even though he is this soldier of war, his ability to be diplomatic with the twin emperors is pretty impressive. And, like, they hatched this plan and it's sniffed out, and it's just like, you really thought that would work? And like Lucilla sending Lucius away after Maximus dies and just being like, well, I hope he returns someday when the time is right. It just, I don't know. It kind of missed the mark. I mean, that final fight scene between Denzel Washington's character, whose name is Macrinus, and Lucius was pretty cool, but it also felt like a cop-out. It was like, hey, listen, guys, kind of running tight on the old budget. So this whole grand battle that we're setting up, let's just really focus on the intimate personal conflict between these two. But yeah, I do agree with Dave Portnoy, where it was like, man, Denzel Washington ascends quick into power. It's just like, and then there's this silly moment where, the one emperor names the monkey as like his counsel, and you're like, all right, I think we have officially, we've gone off the rails here. But I mean, I feel like that definitely happened. Maybe not in Rome, maybe not an emperor in Rome, but like with some leader got into a position of power that they were just not qualified for, and probably did some wacky shenanigans, like naming a monkey to be your first counsel. I didn't hate the movie, but at the same time, I was like, this doesn't feel, I don't want to say cheap knockoff, but it was like, this doesn't feel like it's not quite has the same weight that the first one had, which is weird. I mean, Ridley Scott is the producer and the director. So you're thinking, there are so many, I mean, there are quotes. People still quote Gladiator to this day. Are you not entertained? Obviously. But Frost, sometimes it makes the blade stick. I mean, that's a very obscure one, but I still remember that. And it's not like I have that on repeat, but like on loop, I still have just vivid memories of Gladiator. I don't think I'm going to have vivid memories of Gladiator 2, although the shark scene was, that was pretty dang cool. So that was Gladiator 2. And then Wicked came out. I did not take my daughter to see it. Her mother took her to see it. And I asked her, I was like, how was it? And she was like, it was good. We had to leave though. And I was like, oh, why'd you have to leave? Like, what happened? She's like, we didn't stay for the whole time. And I was like, but yeah, I know, but like, what, why'd you leave? What happened? She's like, well, mommy said it was too long. And I was like, mommy said it was too long? Like, you didn't say it was too long. Mommy said it was too long. So then, the wheels, they are a turning in the old bean. And I was like, why? Okay, that sounds weird. Like, this sounds like classic mommy doing some shady stuff. Like, what? She probably left the movie because she wanted to do X, Y. I go into conspiracy mode as soon as I heard it. And then I actually looked at the runtime. I was like, there has to be a reason why they left. And like for the adult to say it's too long, like, did she not look at the runtime before she bought tickets for it? It's 2 hours and 40 minutes. It's a PG film. It's rated PG. The balls on the studio and the production team to produce and distribute a kids movie that is 2 hours and 40 minutes is illegal. It's out of control, irresponsible. It's just like, what the hell? That is too long for a kids movie. That is too damn long. So I don't know. I think it should be. I think it's releasing on streaming services pretty soon. So I'll give it a whirl, for her so that she can actually finish it. I was like, did you want to leave? She's like, no, mommy wanted to leave. It's too long. I was like, okay, interesting things. So, oh boy. So, I, that Saturday drove down with my daughter to South Carolina. My sister and brother-in-law went to Mexico for his brother's 40th and his 42nd birthday. It was like a group outing. They had some other friends down there. They had a grand old time. My mother, as the records will show, is physically limited in what she's able to do in terms of watching the kids. So she asked if I could come down and help her watch the kids. So that's my daughter, age 6, eldest eldest niece, 11, oldest nephew, 8, youngest nephew, 3. So it's 4 kids under the age of 11. And I'm here and talking to you, so I did it. I survived. They didn't. Kidding. But oh boy, you want to talk about patience? It was the ultimate test. And before I went down, my sister sends me this like Bible, just like the dictionary, an email that contains like paragraph after paragraph of instructions, reminders, how they do things down there. And I was like, I think I've made a mistake. I think I've made a very big mistake. You have to, it was like we bought a zoo, only I didn't buy a zoo. You bought the zoo and now I have to take care of it. What the F? They have chickens, peacocks, kittens, and a dog. And I have to feed them. So I have to get the kids to feed the chickens and to feed the peacocks and the kittens and the dog. We had to fill rain barrels because my my sister is getting into, farming, flowering, planting, all that good stuff. So I had to fill the rain barrels. In addition to my youngest nephew is potty training. And like a fool, I took him at his word multiple times that he was not pooping when in fact he was pooping. I asked him and he looked me right in the eye and he just said no. And he just full blast unleashed fury in his pants, dumped it up, And I was like, why did I think that this would go any other way? Because when I was potty training my daughter, I asked her repeatedly, do you have to poop? Are you pooping? And she, while hiding behind a large object, would say no as she crouches. Like, why? And it was nasty. So I was like, you know what? We're going to press pause on potty training because there's a bigger fish to fry. There's 3 other kids that are wreaking havoc. So we're gonna diaper you up for the rest of this trip. Sorry, bud. But I held my own. I think I stuck to I basically stuck to I had a schedule for every day, and then reminders, and like I pretty much stuck to it every day. Managed to get him down for a nap every day where like I'm reading to him, and I was like, I think I got this on lock. I think I'm pretty proud of myself. Making breakfast, making lunch, making dinner, and then you hit a wall. And I already have a tremendous amount of respect and admiration for my sister, for her, being the parent for the majority of the time for 3 kids, and to not have all her hair fall out, and to not be like toothless and nailless from grinding her teeth and biting her nails off. Like I cannot be any more impressed with her parenting abilities, because like it was like day one, it's like, I got this. Day two, all right, it's getting a little touch and go. And day three, okay, getting a little getting a little testy. And then day four was just day 4 or 5. I think I lost it. I was like, I needed a timeout. I needed to give myself a timeout. I did end up watching It's in the Game, a docuseries about Madden football on Prime Video. I want to say I highly recommend, but I'm going to temper that a bit, because I do think they basically kind of just glossed over a very large chunk of the Madden timeline. I mean, Madden is now what, 25 now? No, it's got to be more than that. I mean, they've been doing it since 80 something. So I know Madden 25 is currently out, and apparently it's really, really good, and to the point where I'm considering the possibility that of getting like a PS5 or something, just so I can play Madden 25. But I remember playing Madden in 87 or 88, like the first edition that was on PC. My uncle had it on like floppy disk or something like that, and I ended up playing it on his computer. I played a ton of games on his computer, and that was one of them. And I remember, like, you basically, it's completely top to bottom scroller. There's no angle or anything like that. And, anytime you would try to throw, it would get picked off, because there's no, like, you can't adjust how high the ball is going, or like where it's going. It's just like, if it's not a clear path, like no players in the way, it's going to get picked. And so what you ended up having to do was I think you could like either roll right so that you get a clear shot, or you could throw it backwards to someone and then they could throw it. So I think that was the go-to move there. But, God, the amount of hours I spent playing Madden, I miss it. I miss it big time. And it was wild to see like the lengths that they would have to go to get the game that they wanted. Like they basically, it was like on the border of being illegal what they were doing, in terms of like, they had a contract. They did a game for Sega, I think, and Sega was like, all right, well, we just want, like, it's going to be Joe Montana's football, which I think one of my best friends from my buddy from Rhode Island had. And we used to play that a lot, I think, instead of Madden on the Sega, because he had a Sega. And it was like not as many plays. It was okay, but it was like not as good as Madden. And they basically, so they developed the game for Sega, but then they like, not hacked, but they got like, they were able to I think this is called retcon or retrofit, like reverse engineer, I think is the word. There you go. Reverse engineer the Madden game so that it would be 16-bit. And that's when Madden took off. So they basically did like a half-assed job for Sega, and but Sega never gave any pushback. They were like, this is great. So they fulfilled their obligation to Sega, but then we're doing their version of Madden on the side. And of course, Madden far superior than Joe Montana's football. But man, so many late nights playing that game. And it was like, yeah. And I've told this before, but they didn't address this in the they kind of addressed it in the docuseries. Was, they didn't do names for like the first 5, 6, 7 years or something like that. It was like not until the mid 90s, I think, or early 90s that they started, or mid 90s, I'm sorry, that they started putting names. They were able to license the names. And before it was just they had the numbers. And so it's like, if you're a fan, 22 on the Cowboys, Emmitt Smith. And I remember I think it was Christmas 93. I was in 8th grade. I asked for Madden and I got it. And I as soon as I started playing, I was like, what? Why is the Giants quarterback number 7 and why is the Jets quarterback number 11? And sure enough, did they address this in the docuseries? I don't think they did, but they mixed up the numbers for each of the New York teams. So the Giants players had were the Jets numbers, and then the Jets players were the Giants numbers. And so I threw a freaking fit because I was like, this game is completely ruined. Because like, in order for me to play the guy with the guys that I want, I then have to play as the Jets. Like if I play as the Giants, I'm playing with Boomer Esiason as the Giants quarterback. I don't want Boomer Esiason as the Giants quarterback. I want Phil Simms. So then I had to play with the Jets. It was, oof. I don't think I've ever been a bigger spoiled brat than then. My parents were like, so boarding school, right? We're doing boarding school, like far, far away, right? So yeah, but they kind of like, they basically got to, they talked about Michael Vick in 2004, how he was like unstoppable. And then they basically like, it just petered out and they didn't talk at all about like, I want to say from Madden 08 to Madden 24. It was just like, they would kind of go back and forth and intercut between, here's what we're doing with Madden 25. So it almost felt like it was like a commercial in a way for Madden 25 to try and get you excited and for the new release. But we're not going to talk to you about 24, 23, 22, 21, 20, 19, 18, 17. There's like this huge gap and chunk. And I guess it's because the game didn't really advance much. There wasn't anything groundbreaking to set each one apart until 25. So. And it was also interesting to see how involved John Madden was. Holy crap, dude. I mean, that's awesome. It just adds to his lore and legend that he was like, no, like, we're going to make a good game. If I'm putting my name and face to it, we're going to make a great game. It's got to be the best football game ever. Like, that's so fucking awesome, dude. It's like, I love John Madden so much. And I love that, he in the booth, he can come across as like, oh, he's this jovial, funny, buddy guy. But then when it comes down to brass tacks and business, he's like, this sucks. I hate this, or I love this. And like, why aren't we doing this? Like, for him to, it's like he put it on his, he was a coach. So like him taking that same mentality into like a video game development environment where like they're all like, what? What's happening? So, and then there was another story about how they were almost missed a shipping date, or they did miss a shipping date because of XYZ and sent something out with an error. And oof, that's got to be a horrible feeling. I mean, I've pressed publish on some things, and then it takes you like a couple hours to realize, oh, this had a major mistake in it. And the dread you feel. Now imagine that times, I mean, how many units did they publish? Like millions. So funny that like a lot of history's greatest developments or businesses or products, them taking off came down to like something that goes outside the lanes, outside the lines almost, where it's like, well, we knew we had to do something. And so we did this drastic thing that no one knows about that, could be deemed somewhat sneaky, tricky, dubious. So, yeah, I like that. I like that. The docuseries a lot. I was just kind of bummed. It kind of just ended with a kind of a flutter. I was just like, oh, I wanted more. I think there's only like 4 or 5 episodes. So I was like, oh, I need more. Give me more. But I can't get enough of retro graphics. I guess it makes sense. You spend that much time playing 8-bit, 16-bit games, like it's gonna leave a little imprint on the old thinking muscle. I also had to do a job interview while I was down there watching 4 Kids under the age of 11. And the woman, the hiring manager that was interviewing me, gave me zero indication that it would be a video chat until like 5 minutes before we were supposed to talk to each other. And I was like unshaved. I think I threw on a button down, but it was just like, I look like I'm in no position to be working for you. Like I just, and was it my best interview? I'm here to say, put it on the record. No, definitely not. But it was also like, I don't know. I think I might have told her, hey, I'm watching 4 Kids by myself. And then as I'm watching the kids and, getting my ass handed to me and getting just dominated by children, my brother-in-law keeps sending me pics of him on vacation down in Mexico. He sends me, they send me and I'm like, I'm so glad you guys are having so much fun. It looks so much fun. When are you coming home again? We ended up, I think I might have mentioned this in another video, but we ended up watching Wonka while I was down there. I was like, I'm going to throw this on. There's no shot these kids are into it. I know my daughter has expressed zero interest in it. And I was also thinking like, man, the previous 2 Wonkas, it's not exactly like kid friendly. Like the Johnny Depp one is just, I don't think I ever watched it, but I was like, that just looks just from a surface level, the cover, like nightmare fuel. And then of course the original is like, I still have nightmares about that. So I was like, I don't know if this is the best choice, but we're going to roll with it. And I got to say, it was awesome. I really liked it a lot. Timothée Chalamet gives a great performance. Keegan-Michael Key is hilarious as the cop who cannot stop eating chocolates. The 3 chocolatiers are like perfect in their degree of villainy. The one guy, every time he hears people talk about poor people, he throws up in his mouth a little. He like so yeah, it was I mean everyone was like pretty much perfectly cast in it. So I thoroughly enjoyed it. Definitely should have the kids watch it. And then the kids, I didn't think they'd been into it, but they came around on it and they ended up watching it. Tried watching Harold and the Purple Crayon with them and they were just not into it. And so I got frustrated. I put on Sonic the Hedgehog 1. And that's it was like the day. So Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. So it was actually 5 days, full days that I watched them and entertained, educated, guided. And I hit my limit on Wednesday. It was just like, and it was the day that my sister and brother-in-law were supposed to come home. And I was so mad at myself. I was like, I almost did it. I almost made it the whole trip without really letting things get to me. And it was like Sonic the Hedgehog 1 is on and the kids were going nuts and just like wouldn't sit down and watch the movie and like doing all this crazy shit. And I just, that's when I lost it and I flipped out. And like I always do, and like most parents do, I felt like absolute doo-doo butter afterwards. I was just like, I gotta be better than this. I cannot do that. But it worked. I feel like I feel awful about it, but it worked. They ended up the rest of Sonic 1 and 2. They were sitting and not moving a muscle as I was sitting by myself at the kitchen table with my head in my hands, like, you are a monster. How dare you? Yeah, I was self-flagellating hard that night. And then when my sister and brother-in-law come home. They're all like, "Hey, what's going on, everybody?" Like still in party mood, just like relaxing to the max, and like all tanned, sun kissed. And they walk in, and I'm just like grumpy pants McGee, like could not have a larger black cloud over me, just dripped and crip. And so I think they could sense my like the blackness and the darkness within me. And I like I couldn't even talk. I was just like, spent, exhausted, and really just, I gotta be better. So I think they were like scared to ask, like, how did things go? How are you doing? I was like, it was great. It was so great. We had so much fun. And, I think, and then my sister started to get worried and scared, like, oh my God, what did my kids do? And I was like, you know what? They didn't do anything. They didn't set anything on fire. They didn't kill each other. Like, they just do some things that, kids do. It's like normal kid shit. So like, I think my mom had a tendency to be extra strict and severe with them. And I was like, Mom, you got to dial it back. Cause like, you can't keep the threat level can't be midnight at all times, cut them some slack. I think I was pretty, for the most part, easygoing. I wasn't like all over them for everything. There's just some things that I get really intense about, like hitting each other. Like, don't hit each other. I keep telling them ELE. Everybody love everybody. So I was like, I didn't show it, and I probably wasn't feeling it when my sister and brother-in-law arrived, but I was like so relieved. I was like, all right, I am officially done doing anything responsible for the rest of this vacation. Apparently my daughter's a natural at Battleship. Okay. That makes sense. Why not? So she ended up getting Battleship as a gift for Christmas, which was nice. We still haven't played it yet, which is sad. Gotta hit that up. No turkey this year. This is the first Thanksgiving ever that we did not have turkey, or that I did not have turkey that I can remember. Instead, we had steak, and I'm not complaining. That steak was good because I've said it before, said it again. My brother-in-law is a top of the line smoker. So he smoked that ish for a good amount of time, and it was just tender, perfect seasoning, so good. And I broke the fridge. I'm pretty sure I broke their fridge. They have 3 fridges. Sorry, 4 fridges. And the one in the garage / home gym, it was just like a wacky shelving issue or something, like the sliding thing that comes out. What is it called? Tray, chiller, whatever. I could not get it to go back on track. And of course, as most dudes be doing, we use force. We use excessive force to get the job done. And I think I broke it because every time we went to open it after that initial where eventually I think I got it fixed and the tray would, slide in the right way. Every time I went to open it to get something, it was like, it's a little bit warmer in here. Not as cold as I remember. And then to the point where it was like, oh, this is just not cooling anything. Like, no matter how much I play around with the buttons, like, nope. Like that number that I'm seeing on this panel, that is not corresponding to what's actually happening here. We got a warm front in the fridge. So I feel like, I felt so bad about it. And I guess it was on the older side of things. So they ended up getting a new one, which was nice. And I offered to pay, but they said no. I just felt That awful, but that's the kind of fridge it was. It was like hard to close. One of those doors, the two doors, you have to like it's like you have to slide the one thing into the slot to close the other door. Like you can't just close them at the same time. There's an order to the how you're supposed to close it, which is nuts. Close this first. Make sure that this flippy floppy, I don't even know what you call it, goes into the groove before you close the other one. So there's that. And then there's the freezer, which doesn't close all the way. So freaking condensers or I don't know, switch or whatever broke. So, and my God, they lost like, I mean, my sister tried to make me feel better. She's like, we've had that. You know, my brother-in-law is a hunter. So he's like, you know, he brings home a lot of meats and then puts them in the deep freeze. And she's like, we've had that for like 3-4 years. I don't think anyone was going to eat it. So don't feel bad. But I was like, it's still, you had to throw out a lot of stuff. So we ended up taking the broken fridge to the dump and giving it a proper Viking funeral. Heartwarming eulogy from my nephew. We then went to Booth's Tree Farm because they believe in getting a real tree. And I can understand the appeal because I love the smell. Went to Booth's Tree Farm where we ended up doing a little photo shoot. So if you follow me on the book or on the gram, I shared the holiday card I created from that photo shoot. My sister, who is she could be a professional photographer and has done jobs for other people, but has a tough time being a business lady about it and charging like she should. But great photographer. She didn't charge me. I offered to pay, but she said no. And we did a nice little photo shoot. So I got the headshots that I've been saying. I mean, I can't tell you how many years I've brought it up. Like maybe you could do a photo shoot and I could get some headshots. I feel like I've been asking about that since I was like 27. We finally got it done. And we ended up pissing off a bunch of people in the process because they were just hanging out in the background by this humongous tree. And we had to be like, hey, sorry, could you just... So I think they were pretty butthurt about that. But it's like, it's just 5 minutes. Like, come on. So yeah, it was still, I mean, I wouldn't trade it for the world. Yeah. And I've been saying and thinking that I want to give my sister a break and help her out because she rarely, my brother-in-law gets to go on like hunting trips and things like that. And my sister doesn't do things that are similar to that. Now, my brother-in-law works his ass off in the emergency room. And I listed off the numerous ventures he's got going on. So busy dude who high pressure environment, a lot of stress. So it's like he needs to blow off some steam sometimes. So I get it. But my sister doesn't get to. My sister also has a stressful, responsibility taking care of these kids. And so I've always wanted to be, offer her and be like, hey, if you want to go on a girls trip for a week, because when's the last time you've ever done that? Like I'll help you out and come down and watch the kids. So I'm hoping she's not like, hesitant to ask me because I kind of blew my stack a little bit. But yeah, I'd be willing to do that because she deserves it. Her ability to, and she's human, just like anyone else, any other parent. So there are times where she hits her limit as well. But the majority of the time, her ability to softly approach something and almost always providing some kind of educational value to a disciplinary action is, I'm envious of that. But there are times where it's like, I want to say to her, hey, like, now's the time to drop the hammer. Now's the time to rule with an iron fist because like, I I think it's, you know, it's tough to just constantly be soft and try and educate when it's like, this is just not getting through to you guys. And so now we're going to crank up the decibels a bit. But yeah, just I had a wonderful time. Absolutely wonderful. So, and I think my daughter had a great time as well. She loves going down there. I mean, you know, she was talking about the next. She kept asking when can we go down to see them again? Like, when are we going to see them at Christmas next year? She's like, how long until that? I was like, I mean, we haven't even had this Christmas. Let's just like it's not close. So she loves it down there, and you know, it's can be a madhouse, but there's an energy to it. There's just there's activity, and there's just a constant state of energy and motion and activity, and it's just like the corny way, I guess, is to say it's just full of life. It's just like life. You know, it was a similar feeling to what I had when I was a kid and I would go visit my father's side of the family. It was just like, it was a house that was just not overflowing, but it was full of people, full of conversation, just like constant buzz, you know? And so, yeah, good times at the Tea Give on the farm. And they have like this nice, we did this one, I think there was one, was there one part of it where my brother-in-law set up like this, what is that portable fireplace from Snoop Dogg? Is it called Smoke? I think it's called Smoke. But I think they might have got that, and they broke it out and set it up next to the pool, not right next to the pool, but in that area, and just set that up, and then brought out the cooler and filled the cooler with beers. And it was just like, you know, that's one of the simple pleasures in life that I can't get enough of, is just like outside drinking by a fire. That's just my little slice of heaven. Okay. So that's my birth month. You know, I think there was an election. I'm not sure. I will never not laugh at the people that get so upset. I'm not a Trumper. I'm not a Trump supporter. I'm not a Trump hater. He just is what he is. I think he's not as bad as people say he is. I don't think he's as good as people say he is. And I don't like talking politics or getting into politics or being political, but my God, it is a sight to behold when these journalists who are supposed to be so impartial, it's more of a commentary and amusement with journalism. And like these journalists, they've taken this oath and they have ethics, and you know, they're supposed to be impartial and unbiased and da-da-da. And it's like, no, you're a human. You have feelings and emotions like everyone else. You can try and stave it off and be stoic and not give into it, but like it's hard. It's you know, you're going against every natural fiber of your being. And so to see a lot of the broadcasts that are more left leaning, like an MSNBC or even a CBS or even ABC, the journalists realizing that Trump is winning or going to win. Like just seeing them be like, I cannot believe this is happening again. It's like, yeah, you know, this is what happens when no one can step it the fuck up and contend. This is what happens. You know, you thought Biden was good. Why? I don't know. And then you didn't have a backup plan. Your backup plan was Kamala. And I mean, I just watched a video from James Carville talking about her. He's like, she couldn't even put together a sentence. And it's like, you didn't even try to find anyone else in the party, you know? And it's like, maybe, and there is a correlation to like sports and football. It's like, you didn't even, I don't want to say it's the same as the Daniel Jones situation with the Giants, but like, you didn't even bring in any competition. you just, you gave him the crown without earning it. Like, I don't know. So, that's the thing. It's just like, of course, there are way more qualified people to be leaders in politics, but they want no part of it because it's it's a freaking quagmire. Okay. I hate that the election is always by my birthday. I hate it because everyone's in a mood. And it's like, oh, it's your birthday. Well, you know, abortion's illegal now. It's like, all right. All right. That's the episode. Thanks so much for watching. Thanks so much for listening. And I'll talk to you next time. We still have another 2 months to catch up on. God. Oh, should I tease December? I got one word for December. Pink eye. All right. Thanks, guys. Talk to you soon. Love you. Mean it. Adios, muchachos.